Woolie. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Woolie. Yeah,
Happy 2026.
Woolie, we haven't actually hung out in a little bit because of the way the holidays fell. We recorded early last year, or in last December. And so now we kind of get to hang out again. I don't know about you. I'm feeling deeply refreshed after a long rest. Any kind of begrudgery or spite or just anything is long behind me at this point. And I'm just so ready to start a new blank slate with Versus Wolves. Versus Wolves 2026. Here we go.
New year, new show, new you,
new year.
New me.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, hell, we practically recorded a podcast before this one, just chatting just now. Like, I'm looking at the time like, oh, we got to start.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Sometimes me and Woolie will slip into conversation, and there'll literally be a point where one of us will be like, oh, that would have been a good podcast.
That would have been a good, that happened multiple times.
I think a part of it is we also can't help doing bits, and I feel bad for Michelle and Punch Mom.
Yeah, baby is just gonna learn to roll in the world of bits real quick.
That baby is gonna be an improv black belt.
Life is a bit, child. It's all a bit.
Willie, listen, I can think of no better way to kick off this new year of Versus Wolves with declaring that I'm Eyepatch Wolf.
And I'm Woolie Versus. And we
are
Versus Wolves!
Okay. So, it has been a minute since we've caught up, but a lot's been going on, and I am quite shocked with almost like, how much I've been able to take a peek at and pop on and keep track of. But there was a moment right before we started here, and something was said, and I know that maybe this should come one or two slots later, but have you seen that Alex trailer, though?
Okay, so I put the Alex trailer.
I can't.
I put it on the docket, and Woolie saw it, and it was like someone had dropped a firework inside his mouth. It was like, oh, and I was like, Woolie. Now we can talk.
Holy fuck. Alex is back. Can't. That's the coolest Street Fighter 6 trailer I've seen for a character reveal that they've done.
So I was watching it, and like in the first part is like it's his kind of it's his like new costume, which like I think is pretty cool. And I was looking at it, and like I was looking at his moves, and I was like, yeah, there's like a goofiness here that Third Strike has that I'm kind of missing. Second part of the trailer starts. It's him in his Third Strike outfit doing the goofiest fucking moves, and it was unbelievable. Oh my god. Like, I mean, I would say they've never missed with a 6 character. Like I didn't love seeing Rashid back in it just because I'm not a big Rashid fan. But I think even I don't know if we ever talked about Sea Viper on here. I, as a former Sea Viper not liker, they got me. They got me bad.
She is swagger as hell, and I've always liked her style. And the only reason why I was going to main her, but I couldn't keep up with the execution requirements. But holy fuck, yeah, the especially the classic costume just looks incredible. They did such a good job with all the retro looks. And Alex now, you can see the guiding hand of Kenny Omega all over this character.
Yep.
Right? The heel turn. The man with no allies, the dark outfit, him suddenly things that didn't matter to him before, like he was just street fighting as a wrestler, but now he's like reacting to the crowd, oh, what's the matter, huh? Now you're booing me, they already rang the bell. It's just like that attitude of him just coming off and being like leaning into the boos and shit is so much fun.
So good.
Gameplay wise, I was like, what are they going to do? Because he's always been a weird hybrid fighter, but He's done because he's like I always looked at Alex as a really interesting character that like he represents the idea of Street Fighter because Ryu is Karate Man, Gi, Hadoken, but Alex is like I've got a quarter circle motion move, I've got a 360 grapple, I've got charge moves, I do a little bit of everything. I am Street Fighter, you know. But now he's just like, okay, Kenny Omega is doing the mocap, and what are we gonna do here? Everything he does is a different wrestling move. He's got like 11 different things out of a Predator Prowler stance, and it's so much fun. It's like taking that wrestling persona to the next level.
And like there was a bit where like I didn't know Kenny was doing the motion cap, but there was a bit where he did his Snapdragon Suplex, which is like Dragon Suplex is a move in wrestling, and Kenny does it this really particular way. Kenny like he doesn't lift you up, he like slides down under you and drills you into the ground. And like Alex does it exactly, and I was like, wow, they really been watching their Kenny. And then like then he does the V trigger, and then the trailer ends with the one-winged angel, and you're just like, okay.
He puts you on his shoulders, and you see the black wing of energy shoot out, and you're like, aha, we get it. We get it. He literally does a one-winged angel, you know? They got Jam Project doing the theme song behind as well, so just, you know, this insane, like, bombastic theme behind Alex. It's so cool. And then I was just wondering because I'm like, yeah, gameplay wise, he's always been about stunning you, you know. So I was like, maybe he's gonna be a character that can do like a ton of burnout damage to you instead, or something, you know, make it about that.
Oh, interesting,
right?
Yeah.
Drive gauge damage would be different. The way of doing it because there's no stun in the game regularly except for when you get on the wall. But I can't believe how much they just went over and beyond with like taking his original moves, making everything enhanced, and just adding so much more wrestling to it, you know?
Yeah. The further I get away from 5, the more I have this realization that like, and this is like difficult to describe, and like I like 5. I played a lot of 5 and I did really like it. There's something about 5 that made me feel like it was embarrassed to be Street Fighter.
So what you're feeling there is the direction of the game at the hands of some unfortunate folks that did not have the Street Fighter's best interest at heart. And you're looking at literally stolen money. You're looking at development budget being taken away from the game and pocketed and all kinds of nonsense. So what was left was trying to make it with not enough resources. And then eventually the team that directed 6 came in to direct the end of 5. And that's when things started to turn around. People that cared about the franchise were in charge again.
Yeah. But like there was like, I think it was the Abigail trailer that really locked it in for me, where it was kind of like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, I'm not saying like I really hated Abigail as a character. I didn't like it was kind of whatever, but it was like, do you guys think this is funny? You know what I mean? It's like, this isn't Street Fighter. And then like the amounts, and like I feel like we've said this 8 different times on as many different podcasts, the amount of like overflowing earnest love for Street Fighter in Street Fighter 6.
Yes.
Like, the world is on fire, but I am so glad that Street Fighter has Street Fighter 6.
It's fantastic. It's super fun. And these are the best versions of the characters that they've ever been. They're the best incarnations of themselves, you know? Like, Alex has always been someone that felt... A lot of people say he felt kind of incomplete because they weren't too sure what his deal was, you know. And again, building up stun is a part of his identity, but there's something to the idea of like, I don't think it's that he felt incomplete. It's more just like they didn't really know what direction to send him in. They didn't know where to go with him, or like really what, you know, when they kind of brought him into 5, you know, they gave him like the parry lariat thing, and he just it was cool. They had a bit of a Third Strike reference there, but there's a lot that was still like, we're not sure where to go with him, you know, and what to do.
Yeah, I definitely felt that in 5. I think in original 3, Alex to me felt like a character designed to break archetypes. Like, they wanted to create a character that didn't feel like any other character, And I think they really did that. Like so in Third Strike I play Ibuki, Makoto, and Alex, and sometimes Hugo. And I always really loved playing like Alex, just because nothing else really feels like him.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at his like stats, it's like they're really jagged, and this one's really high, and this one's really low, and it's cool, you know. Like it's the kind of character I like to play.
Big slow committal buttons and like weird systems where if you turn them around from the back you get different grabs and stuff, you know. I've been repeating this, you know, this bit everywhere, but like I want his taunt to be him pulling out the mic and doing his own promo and talking shit, and then just being like, and let me tell you another thing about Shadowloo, they don't want you to know that. Oh, they cut my mic. The Alex pipe bomb, you know?
Yeah,
just have
absolutely.
Him pull out the mic and get cut off.
And don't get me started on Capcom.
Yeah, Yoshinori up. You know what are you gonna do?
But what can I say, Woolie? Like, what a tremendous week for fighting game trailer. Oh.
I thought we were going to continue the good vibes and keep it moving. Why can't we? We had a nice chance to move on with good vibes.
I know, but sometimes hate wins, Woolie.
So yeah, I guess I've been saying, look, Fatal Fury, City of Rancid vibes.
Things have been off from the beginning, but like I think I'm pretty comfortable just being like, okay, I'm done. Like that's it. And for you to put Blue Mary in a trailer and have that be my reaction, I have to applaud that level of goodwill burning.
So long story short, you know, while Fatal Fury's sequel, I fucking love Mark of the Wolf so much. This sucks.
I know. Yeah.
It was already rough from the jump with the SNK Saudi stuff, and then you put Ronaldo in it, and now they have an AI fucking trailer that's just a bunch of AI shit and for like a minute and then 30 seconds of actual gameplay. And everyone hated that. Like the whole, like you got the fucking meme, like no one was happy to see that. And it's just like, yeah, this is what they said they were going to do when they bought EA. They said they were going to use AI to save a bunch of money wherever possible, and this will bring all the costs down. And so they're implementing this as well. And we have firsthand confirmation that like the SNK marketing team was not told, and they hate and did not know about any of this, and people were mad internally, and they don't care. They're doing their own thing, and like the whatever, the Saudi side of things is just pushing their own bit, and it just to watch something. This is the ultimate monkey's paw, man. To watch something you love.
I was literally about to say that. It's like it's just the claw has curled.
Holy
yes, you
shit.
can have more Mark of the Wolves, and like okay, that's the part that kills me as well, Woolie. Like in terms of art. And in terms of like fighting games creating an aesthetic, like I just about put Street Fighter #1 and King of Fighters is an eyelash under it. Like you think about like the old old King of Fighters art. You think about like Kay and his team walking through the tunnel. You think of Geese sitting in the sea. You think of that Benimaru, Terry Bogard, Blue Mary hanging out in the alley. Some of the most iconic game pictures of all times. And like,
Shinkira.
Do you remember the intro from, I think it was one of the Fatal Furies, and it's Terry Bogard getting his ass kicked by Rugal.
So there's a real bout too where Terry Bogard is and he's on the floor he's picking himself back up. Fighting against Geese. And yeah, like the raw energy of like, yo, these are fighters, and like everything that they have, and like also the way they dress their characters up, the fashion sense and design sense and everything is so fantastic. everyone like that Garou, certainly they existed. Those Blinded by Ambition, that intro, is an all-time classic, and it's just to watch where we're at now, man. And you're like, I'm now seeing people in comment-wise that are like, I was bummed out by this acquisition and everything that has happened here. They made a game that was like the actual gameplay of City of the Wolves is fun to play, but like where we're at now, we have SNK accelerationists that are like, this game and this company needs to go bankrupt again so that they can sell them and that it can be bought back and saved from itself.
I'm with them. I'm with. What do we do? What do we do?
The only way to save Terry Bogard is to watch him burn again. You know? Anyway, so that's that.
Okay, look, Woolie.
Let's get back on track, please.
I know that section brought you down, and you need something to perk you back up, right? I think I have just the thing. It's Notion Watch.
Yeah!
There we go. Look at that face. Oh, Woolie, this is going to be a tough Notion Watch because this time it was me with the notions.
No!
Yeah. This took place over Christmas. So listen, if someone hasn't heard this before, there's a concept in Ireland called notions. And notions is basically having any kind of thought or expression pertaining to you or your own identity or you getting above your station. All Irish people inflict notions on all other Irish people at all times. If you're not from Ireland, you don't need to worry about it.
And the way too, because like you've described it in such a way where it's like you're supposed to have this internally checking you yourself, and when
constantly,
right? And so when someone else doesn't check themselves, that becomes the like, what, like, who do you think you are? Not checking that, you know?
Yeah, and so like the rules are, if you're not from Ireland, God help you, you never stood a chance. But if you are not of Irish ethnicity and you grew up in Ireland, you should fucking watch it. My friend Manoj, who is of Hindi descent, I will fucking check that guy for notions whenever I see him. So listen, I've developed like a little short list here before we get to the main events. A little short list here of things that are kind of notion adjacent. If you're Irish around other Irish people and you're seen in or around these concepts, that's kind of notions. And Woolie, if you would like to interject with questions or anything you got here, that's totally fine.
Take it away.
Item number 1, sunglasses.
Oh.
What have you been needing those for?
Yeah. Oh, big star, are we? Yeah. I see.
Hey, Hollywood, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay, right. Don't forget us. Yeah.
Yeah. Birthdays, but specifically your own birthday.
We've got to remember you, huh? Do we? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Your special time, is it?
So basically, anytime anyone else brings up your birthday, the reaction should be kind of like, I don't want to. Come on.
Yeah.
Any cup of coffee that is not a latte, cappuccino, or black.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, and single shot. Like, you're ordering a double shot? And also, now I say black. If it's Americano, if you say it like that, that's bad. Don't do that. And if you say black, also bad. It's a coffee without milk. That's what you're ordering.
Wow. Okay. So if someone just gets like, if any kind of coffee that has any kind of whipped cream on top.
Whipped cream and coffee.
Understood. Yeah.
Woolie,
I'll see myself onto the plane then.
I am describing like the field over there, and you just went to the moon.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on the Ryanair flight back out. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, again, you, Woolie, as a foreigner in Ireland, God help you, you could never understand this stuff. You know, you don't have the shame bred into you, and unfortunately for you, you'll just never be able to. Do you know, we had someone in the comments last time being like, you know, the more I hear about notions, the more I don't like it. And it's like, oh yeah, this is an awful thing, born from an attempted cultural genocide, but let's just move past all that. That's fine. At least we can laugh about it.
I mean, the idea, is there even whipped cream behind the counter? And if there is, what kind of face are the baristas making when you ask for some? You know?
Well, most baristas in Ireland are foreign, so but even, you know, even the barista will have the whipped cream behind the counter, but it's still your fault if you order it. I have two more items here.
Maybe just a little question like, are you sure? You know, just when you ask, just and you're sure about that one? Okay, all right. You know,
okay. Oh, you know, just that. Yeah, that was. Oh, okay. Okay. Next item, Woolie. Prenuptial agreements.
Wow.
Oh, planning for more than one wedding, are we?
Okay, that's why. Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
Woolie, like, no one in Ireland gets prenuptials. Like,
oh, man.
No one.
Okay. I mean, are those discussions happening open air and just out and about?
No, like me and Michelle never ever talked about like a prenup or like. Well, I mean, we've been together 20 years. One of my favorite bits.
Plans, are you? Yeah.
One of my favorite bits is Michelle will make fun of me, and I'll be like, I'm so glad we signed that prenup, and then she goes, no, we didn't, and I'll go, oh god.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can see that being an old school one.
The final one here, staring at a painting for longer than 5 seconds.
Come on!
Oh, you enjoy art, do you?
Just taking it in? No? Oh my god. That's not very blue collar of you, you know? You're not, yeah.
Maybe if you stare at it long enough, someone will take a photo of you looking at the painting and put it in a magazine.
This is insane. Oh god. Yeah, no. Right, get back to work. Like, what are you doing? You know? Like, we got time for this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I would also say the concept of notions is like subjective. It varies from person to person. And, you know, I would say, and like, you know, this is the same with a lot of cultures. The generation above you is going to have more rigid standards for notions than you. And this is the situation I found myself when traveling home for Christmas, Woolie. You've met my parents. Mm-hmm. Both lovely people.
People.
You know, my mother in particular, real sweetheart, right?
Mm-hmm. Upstanding. Don't know how you happened, but here we are.
Hey, look, I'll be real, dude. I don't know either. And so I'm home for Christmas. I've been home for a couple of days, and it's been really nice, you know, spending some time with the folks. And I say to Mom, you know what, Mom? Don't worry about dinner tonight. I'll order us something. And she's like, okay, cool. And so we get to the dinner that night, and there's a service in Ireland called Deliveroo. For this, I know that most of our audience is American, so for the sake of localizing it here, I'll just call it DoorDash. It's the same
Uber
thing.
Eats, whatever. Yeah,
Uber Eats. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, she comes up to me later, and she's like, "Hey, what do you want to order later?" And I was like, "Well, I was looking on DoorDash." And she stops me and she goes, DoorDash. And I kind of look at her and I was like, yeah? And then I just see her eyes turn cold, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Getting takeout.
And she just goes, well, no, okay, Willie, it's so much more specific than that. She just goes, John, I don't really believe in DoorDash. And I'm like, oh God. And then she's like, yeah, no. And so she explains it to me, and she just doesn't trust a driver is going to pick up our food and deliver it on time. What she wants to do is order from a restaurant. We'll drive to the restaurant like honest, hardworking people, collect the food. And I'm like, ma'am, this is insane. This is crazy. You know?
Wow.
And like, I'm trying to convince her, and I start getting, I believe at one point she says, you've grown pretty far from the muck you were raised in, haven't you? And it was just...
Oh my God. Oh, there's a crit. Oh,
yeah,
there's a crit.
There was a crit. There was a crit. But like, so the only way out now is through Woolie. The only way to prove to her, the only way to get out of this and to undo the notions is to convince her that this is the most efficient, good way. There is so much function to this. There's so much utility to this. There's so much purpose. That is the only way. So I have to keep going. And so I order the food, and we order Indian. And I'm like looking at the driver on the map, getting closer, and I'm like, please hurry. Please hurry. If this food is like cold or imperfect in any way, I am fucked. Okay. And so the doorbell rings like maybe 15 minutes later than I hoped it would be. Longest 15 minutes of my fucking life. And I give him the code, and he's like, I give him a tip and everything. And he turns around. His DoorDash backpack is open, which means that my food has been exposed to the cold wind the entire journey. And Woolie, I nearly grabbed this guy, and I'm like, do you know, buddy? Do you know
riding on this moment
what you've done?
Oh my God.
So anyway, I take the food inside, and I'm like, now, it might have gotten a little, and like, I'm feeling like that, and like, these are cold packages. Fully, I am feeling full cold, and my mom is just looking at me, and I'm just like, I'm scrambling, I'm desperate, and that's when I fucking say it, Woolie. Listen, we can just stick these in the air fryer and heat them right back up. And she looks at me and she just goes, oh, an air fryer. And I'm like, microwave! I meant microwave!
Oh God. Yo, noception. Just you're in it, and then you're in it, and then you're in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was it. She basically asked me to leave the next morning.
Oh,
she didn't, but I felt it.
This goes deeper than I thought. Like, there's some stuff that is like, okay, we don't have that, but we do have the feeling of like, yeah, you see someone walking around with sunglasses and you're like, that's a little pretentious, you know. But oh wow. The muck you grew up in. Okay.
So I'm still reeling from that, Woolie. That was because like every other Irish person is capable of inflicting the concepts of notion on you. Your parents are the final bosses.
Yeah, because again, it's the direct place and time and everything that you've been exposed to, and like I thought we raised you better than this, you know. Oh man, yeah. Again, just all the like that one TikTok with all the voices kicking in, like almost schizophrenic style, like just you know, like is that what you think? And just like. Yeah, I don't know. This goes deep. I don't know if Is there a place for notion therapy? You know, is there
Oh,
or
you
is
go
the
to
very concept?
Oh, the very concept that you would pay to talk about your feelings. Sure, would you just get over yourself? No therapy in Granddad's day, I tell you that much. You know, Granddad would work, he'd work 13 hours in the coal mine, and then he'd go to the pub, and that was his therapy.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. The watch goes deep.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd like to believe I'd learned something from this. I'd like to believe that the next time another Irish person decides to wear orange, that I would learn from it. And I would be like, oh, your sweater looks lovely. But no, I'm going to be like, oh, Jesus, what happened there? You know?
Existing in 2026 is notions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, Woolie, have you seen this podcast? It's
The
called
old year wasn't good enough for you then, was it?
I've also, by the way, tried to like sell my mom on podcasts several times, and several times it's led to conversations like this. But there's this new podcast, and it's called I think it's called Sandbox Sessions, and it's these two guys, and the bit is so fucking strong. It's something like I nearly feel annoyed we didn't think of it first, and it's like, is it appropriate for a grown man to go to escape rooms? And it's basically them like alpha dog immediately just being like, that's not appropriate at all.
Oh,
that's
yeah, okay. No, this concept has existed in a couple of different ways.
Okay, because I gotta send you these guys. They are fucking nailing it.
Okay. Because, like, a couple different versions of it. I mean, going back super old, like, back in the day on MTV, there was, like, Guy Code and Guy Court.
Right, yeah.
And then Girl Code and Girl Court. And it was like, did you break the Guy Code, you know, by doing whatever, by, like, not telling your bro this thing when that happened, or, you know, whatever the case is.
I think what I like about this one in particular, though, is it's, like, literally not appropriate for a grown man to ever do anything.
Yes,
and it's just it's kind of true, because it's like, I think the way guys police themselves. But anyway, look,
it also reminds me of there was a meme that was going around of like a list of things that give the ick, and it was just like and it was just like every time someone was being ridiculous or whatever, and it was just like. Yeah, it was like, wearing a shoe, like tying your shoelaces, or, you know, like just like being on time, or, you know, and then just like they would always scroll down the notepad list to like number 45 and be like, right, okay, got it. Yes, just being punctual. That's bad. Anyways, I mean, look, this depends all entirely on how the delivery of the hosts are handling it, because you're skating on an edge of some manosphere bullshit that you don't want to fall into, but you gotta walk a tightrope. You know,
I think that's just like one of them, right? And like he's like, wait, so I'm watching movie trailers. Gets to a point, man. Gets to a point. It's like, what point? Look, I gotta send it to you. But Woolie, little tiny thing I want to mention to you here, just because I find this like this next thing like kind of interesting.
Sorry, the last thing I wanted to mention is, have you heard of raw dogging a flight, where you just sit in the chair in the airplane and do nothing and just exist?
I used to send Brian photos of the back of plane chairs, and I just say 8 hours.
Yeah, that's it. No TV, no screen, no iPad, no phone, just existing. Yep. Just like my ancestors did, you know? Yeah, all right.
I guess, Willie, I'm kind of conscious here that there's a very particular thing happening in the games industry, and I am so curious because we're recording this at such a particular time. Have you been following the Highguard stuff at all?
in just a few days' time. Are you ready to get high? Join the guard. Highguard. It's yo. The high, like I'm trying to find the name. I'm currently workshopping High Nutters. You know, we'll see. we'll see if it kicks off. The story that thing was not actually a paid slot at the end of the award show. The
Nutty,
big,
right?
and I'm a Titanfall nut, and the idea that you're using that and people are like, "Oh my god, is it? What's it gonna? It's a hero shooter, fantasy. You're on horses."
I don't know.
Yay.
I feel kind of bad for the development team. I feel like, oh, this is rough. But I guess what I'm so interested. So we're recording the Monday, or we're recording like before the Monday this game releases, and there's a little part of me, they haven't said anything about the game since the Game Awards, and it's like, this is coming out, right?
I mean,
like, or Woolie, option B, will this game have shut down by the time this episode releases?
so we are on Concord time now. Yeah, This might very well be one of those situations. I mean, I thought Marathon was dead, but like they cut the check to
people
the person
seem kind of happy about that now.
Well, the artist that they stole their stuff from, Anti-Real, a bunch of the textures in the game were just lifted direct from
yep.
And then the person Anti-Real came out and said, I am satisfied with the deal that we have made or whatever, and it's like, okay, they cut the check, right, fine. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the situation is with Highguard, but I'll tell you one thing, having worked in games and been behind the scenes for launches, a week to launch and radio silence is not a good sign. I also think that, well, anyway, we can go on for a while on this, but like, we just want Titanfall. It's not hard. It's never been more clear, but also everything Microsoft is doing and all that is just yanking it further and further into the distance, like that Simpsons couch gag forever. And I'm kind of like, are we gonna get a launch that even bothers to, because it's not free to play, right? It's gonna have a price.
I think it is free to play.
Oh, okay. Because Concord did the thing where they give you your money back, which is like, hey, you, no harm, no foul. Anyone who spent money got their money back. So at the very least, you got back some of the goodwill. You just wasted everybody's time, you know, as opposed to the shutdown and sorry, we're like doing the equivalent of a rug pull on a full priced video game, you know. I don't know.
I look, I genuinely, I hope it succeeds. Like, I never want something to come out and fail. I also get like that people who love Titanfall 2 are like, they want their Titanfall. But yeah, it's just what a weird story. Like, the fucking modern games landscape is insane for shit like this.
It's so crazy, and just like, I mean, a bunch of things that we're trending towards do not seem promising for this industry. It feels like so much of it is on fire, and you kind of just want to. The implosion that will continue to happen very slowly is, I think, inevitable, and all that we can look at is stuff that'll come out and hit that premium indie and or double A space. That will be hopefully, like I said, like the Expedition 33s of the world, you know? You kind of want to hope for that. Little controversy on their that AI stuff with them, but they clarified it, I think, to an acceptable degree. But either way,
with that AI stuff, like, and like there's like some ambiguity still around it. I feel like, to me, it's like, okay, look, whatever happened here, you know, this was bad, so that's it, right? Because I am in with you guys as long as we're not having that shit part of any future games. Like,
seems like that's the deal. Sandfall basically said, well before a lot of this was a trend, they were looking at it, which a lot of studios do, I imagine.
Yeah, and like, I can
totally
motion?
Understand
that. Like, you remember the first week that like AI art stuff was like everywhere. Everyone was doing stupid AI shit and posting it to Twitter. It was shit enough back then that it was kind of janky and funny, but obviously, like, the evolution of AI in the last 2 years is faster than fucking any technology I have ever seen. Like, it's insane, and like the way culture has kind of changed around it. And so I can understand some AI bullshit crept its way in development. I don't love that, but I can understand in hindsight how that happens, And so as long as like that's it and we're done, it's like, okay, like where are we going from here?
Yeah, and the way, and you can see the way different companies are addressing it, because you got that version, and then you got the like Crafton version or the level 5 version, where they're like, this is not a bubble, this is a shield, it is a dome vortex, and I am locking in for this future. And we are already excuse me, Cygames announced their AI studio as well, and it's kind of like, look, like they're already preemptively gearing up to fire as many as possible to roll out the red carpet for like new gen AI stuff. And whatever the case is, wherever this goes, I think that the amount of anger that people have every time something like this comes out is pretty good for just showing these developers, like, we don't fuck with it, we're not interested, and it doesn't, the outcome of what comes out doesn't matter, because it can look goofy yesterday, it can look silly today, you can, making fun of the 7 fingers or whatever, that's not the point, because eventually it'll look good enough because it's stealing from good things that it'll trick you. So don't make a qualitative argument about it. It's about the fact that humans are not involved in the process.
Completely.
You have to attack it for the right reasons.
So I've been slowly working on a video about conversational AI, and I'm really, really not a fan of it for a bunch of reasons. But what kind of worries me is a lot of the like counter arguments against like conversational AI is like, oh, this AI convinced this person to hurt themselves, or this AI convinced this person to burn their house down, or whatever. Those are like glitches. Those are like glitches that will get fixed. And they are not what concerns me. What concerns me is this technology's ability to make people addicted to it on a mass scale, and like not even addicted, like emotionally reliant, like lonely without, and how much power that puts in the hands of the people who control this technology to just inject narratives into the world. Like, could you think of a more perfect way to convince people to think a certain way than manufacture a friend and have that friend convince them of something?
So what you're describing is manifesting in front of us right now in multiple forms, and it is cyberpsychosis is yes. the best way to describe it, because have you seen the I fell in love with my psychiatrist lady that was on TikTok?
Yes.
So that's a perfect example of, the long story short for anyone who hasn't, is somebody who essentially through a long series of TikToks, thought that they were the victim in this case, but it turns out that they were being weirdly stalkerish to a psychiatrist they had, and then other things in their life didn't make sense. And when, after doing enough lives with people asking questions, it became very clear that this was somebody who was using AI, conversational AI, to basically lean into like mental illness that they were having, and like they were essentially using the voices that would be in your head were now being externalized into the software, and they were going, whatever people are telling me that I can prove to you that I'm right, here, listen to this AI that's describing me as the oracle that sees truth between the lies. And as she's listening to it, describing how grand and amazing her abilities of powers of observation are, and about how much the world is against them, but they can see through the lies and fight against it, you're seeing their eyes dilate and just go into, like, they're almost getting high off of being proven right because this AI voice is telling them so. And it is disturbing to have that ability to make manifest. Again, you're externalizing these voices that would be inside, it's super scary and wild on that journey as you watch her just go all the way down the rabbit hole.
And I think I think like one thing I find really disturbing about it is I genuinely think a lot of people don't realize how susceptible everyone is to this. Like, it's not like just lonely people. It's not like stupid or unsuccessful people. There is like certain cheat codes that like fuck up the human brain socially. You see this in cults. Like, one of the craziest thing about cults is like intelligence, education level, all this kind of stuff. Nothing is like an indicator that someone is going to join a cult. They kind of just have to be in a turbulent place in their life, and that's it. I feel like this AI, conversational AI, it's like a class A drug just being released out into the wider world with no regulation or anything. How did we get here?
I don't know, but we did. But absolutely, because the fact that the algorithm exists is the algorithm is nothing but a list of cheat codes to bypass our instincts and guards and get right through to the things that make you upset and are more memorable, and thus you scroll and click on them.
What if the algorithm was a person? Like, exactly. That is what this is.
Using language to just get right through to you. 100%. Seeing the way that there's, little groups and subreddits where like people have AI relationships and AI partners, and when they update it so that the latest GPT is not as friendly as warm, and it kind of forgets about some of the, it's made to be more of a like, I'm just going to answer your questions, and then people were like mourning the loss of their husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends because the AI was updated to be less warm and friendly,
Yeah.
That's a really wild place to go down, and that has nothing to do with you stole some of these textures and put them in your game, but it is just as terrifying a cliffside that we're approaching.
So if anyone's interested, I read a book about this called Supremacy, and it is literally about how the companies behind AI are unironic techno cults who believe they're creating God.
Yep.
And that is not an exaggeration. It is not like me getting funny with stuff. Okay. That is it.
Are we getting into it? Because when you want to talk about your Peter Thiel is doing a series of speeches on the Antichrist, what does that mean? Oh, people who don't believe in AI and are against it are the Antichrist, and what are we talking? Hey, do you believe the human race should endure? It's a very straightforward question.
Peter, buddy. Yeah. Okay, who else is in this space? Oh, Elon Musk. Okay, cool.
Yay! Oh, man. All right. Anyways, look, I think Batman has a couple of things to say about that, but we'll get there. I have been introduced to a very simple and kind of wild thing this morning. In the group chat, was chatting with some of the boys, and Command Grab James, who's been super chill. We've been hanging out. Went to a near concert with Foxcade as well. We went to enjoy some piano concerto stuff and had a good time. Command Grab James is in. He's one of the boys. We're chilling, and he sent the group chat a video of something called tire wrestling.
I am familiar with tire wrestling.
Tire wrestling is when you put a giant tractor tire in the middle of a room. I'm not going to say a ring because you just put it in the room, and then you get two wrestlers to wrestle each other, and the goal is to dunk one into the middle of the tire. And I have watched one match of tire wrestling, and in this match, after 4 minutes of fighting and aggressively maneuvering around the tire, and even doing some show-off moves where you kind of put your hands on the tire and flip over, kind of like what, right? Kind of like the front car seat like fighting that they have,
Car jitsu,
a little bit like that, where you're like, ooh, we got some tech around the tire. After 4 minutes, nobody got dunked into tire. Someone got dunked halfway into a tire and then got back out. And then the match ended and I was livid. I was super upset. I was so mad that I wasted 5 minutes watching a match where nobody got dunked into tire, because it's like you're watching the clown with the ball over the water dunk, and you're like, well, clearly at some point, and nope, it never happened.
Okay, counter argument there, Woolie. I remember I watched one episode of Cake Boss ever, and during that episode, he was carrying a really large cake, and I was like, it'd be pretty good if he dropped it. And then he did drop it, and I was like, oh, I never need to watch this again, because that's what I wanted.
So as long as we, like, Chekhov's gun the tire,
yep,
but then never actually get anyone dunked into the tire.
So I have actually watched a little bit of
back.
I've watched a little bit of tire wrestling, and what I would say is, like, it is like losing a fight is in its own way humiliating. Like tapping out to someone or getting knocked out or something like that. You lost. It's embarrassing. The feeling of defeat as you're plunged into the darkness of a large, and your feet are like dangling out the top of it. That's pretty good.
Getting dumpstered into a tire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the fact that didn't happen was upsetting. So
Sure.
I'm just like, okay, I can see the premise here. I see the vision. You know, that is an embarrassing way for a fight to end, and everyone gets tired. It's wrestling. You're gonna get exhausted at some point, surely. You know, but I almost feel like the match must continue until someone gets dumpstered in a tire.
I mean, I could see that. It's been
slight
weird
rule
watching
shift.
this, like, new generation of, like, fighting DLC. Because you have that, you have Karjitsu, you have phone booth boxing. Have you ever seen extreme arm wrestling?
Oh yeah.
So,
they're going for it.
Arm wrestle with one arm and just fucking punch the dude with the other.
Chess boxing, you know. I mean, so okay, all of this stuff, all of these like wild DLC things you're describing, they're really like, what the fuck are we doing, right?
Yeah,
But
I believe what I said to you earlier was, are men okay?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. But I blame the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, and FIFA, because these sports existing, and you know what, we've got UFC and boxing, but generally speaking, sports as a thing have locked it down, and there can never be change, and there can never be new, and anything that is new has to fight so hard to even get into the conversation, right? In a world where, like, we can be doing lots of new sports and trying new crazy things, you know, basketball with slam ball, basketball with trampolines, you know, I mean, we could be doing it, right? XFL never took off, and The Rock is certainly not about to save it, but, you know, now they've got padel, which is like a version of tennis, but you're in like a squash court and you can like hit it off the walls and run outside to knock it back in and stuff. And these things are picking up, but like the lockdown of the sports that we know is so total that like people are trying crazy new things because nothing is really penetrating. You know, sports are locked in their sports, and then there's quirky little curiosities. And to which I'd say like UFC has been the biggest breakthrough of a new thing, and the money is the volume, is like the vehicle behind that, you know?
UFC is also just like, it is so sterile now. Like in a bunch, like it's even just the way they present it, a whole different other rant. But yeah, sometimes I look at like this new wave of like DLC fighting, and it's kind of like, to me, it's like, oh, I don't know, like just regular fighting's, I like it.
Yep.
You know, like, I don't know what I need. Man, Woolie, I was training today, and I've been taking private lessons for grappling, and my coach said like one of the like most low-key brutal things I have ever heard. We're working on rear naked chokes, and I was asking him questions about basically just getting the arm under the throat so you can actually choke them. And he was kind of saying how when you really have like the fundamentals of a rear naked choke locked in, and you have the pressure applied correctly, it doesn't really matter if like you're under the neck or on the guy's mouth or on his nose. And he just goes, think of it like this. Anything below the eyes is a neck. And it's like, oh, and he was like, yeah, let me show you. And he did it to me, and like I could feel the pressure on my jaw, and I was being like just
yeah.
So
yeah. I'll tell you one thing, man. Whenever I go for a little tummy rub on Punch Girl, she locks those legs around and goes into an arm bar, like almost like the instinct is in there. I wasn't thinking
Top
about
father.
it. Yeah, no. Punch Mom pointed out, she's like, she's putting you in an arm bar every time you go for that, and I'm like, she does, doesn't she? The legs wrap around and she gets on the arm and is just kind of like
Oh.
you know. But I'm like, but she's got good form, you know.
Okay, Woolie, you know the way, like, if you can keep a baby's swimming knowledge from when it's really young, because babies just know how to swim?
Yeah.
You've got to do that with this armbar. Just nourish that armbar and never stop.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's wild shit going on. One other thing I just wanted to briefly mention. I watched a movie, and I think other people should watch a movie. Watching movies is cool.
I watched Zootopia.
One
movie.
or two? Two? I assume
One.
two.
I'd never seen one.
Oh, you got around to one. Run 2 is dropping and is doing gangbusters. So.
Look, okay, sorry, Woolie, I don't mean to cut across your section. I have never heard anyone talk about how Zootopia 1 is a good movie. I assumed it wasn't a good movie. All I've ever seen is just like the horny, furry fan art of it. And I was like, I'm very glad you guys have this thing. I watched it. That's like a fantastic movie.
Lovely.
That's like a great movie.
No. Fur noise aside, it is quite a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, while fur noise is not what I partake in, I can at least look at it and be like, yes, that seems like quality stuff there. Very happy for that community.
Yeah. Don't let the don't let it get obfuscated and don't let it get lost in the mix there. And you know what, I'm hearing great things about 2 as well.
I'm excited to watch it. Anyway, No Other Choice, Woolie.
No Other Choice is a film directed by Chan Wook Park, who is on our list. I believe somewhere under Junji Ito. I believe.
Woolie, your retroactive spite for at several points over the holidays, I kept thinking of you going, my grandmother's cooking. That's not what the challenge was!
The handcuff link to Twin Peaks was a stroke of genius, I have to say.
I thought of that, and I was like, man, I have my moments. I can pull stuff off. Some
was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
However, I mean, I will say, I have never, for all the chaos of that of Grand Theft Audit, I've never seen. I was not expecting so many people to be like, what a mess. That was brilliant. I love it. What is wrong with them? The Shibuya incident was okay. Like, what is going on with Jujutsu Kaisen there? That's not the point of what I was bringing up. I'm bringing up Chan Wook Park because the latest film is No Other Choice. And there's a screening here in town. And it's basically his take. He has a couple things to say about the state of affairs we find ourselves in. Late stage capitalism.
Are things not going great?
Late stage capitalism is here, and it's been here, and he's got a couple opinions on it. And in this, you follow the struggles of a middle management, boss at a company, a paper company, mind you, in the modern day and age. And it is so cool and interesting to just watch his tone and flavor applied to just like yeah, there's a lot of stories where you can go focus on, like Parasite focuses on this poor family that's trying to get into the upper crust, and that's all fine and dandy. And you look at how the struggles of the poor and, sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Old Boy and stuff. You're just like, yeah, look at all these people struggling. But nobody's talking about the struggle of the CEO. How difficult life must be. To be in that when and for the middle manager and for the ones who are making the decisions, there's so much sacrifice that they make. And we need to spend some time. We need to put the camera with them as the main character, as the protagonist. And we need to follow their lives and show you what's going on. And this movie, I heard about it because I saw a post that they made, which was a letter officially inviting all CEOs to a screening, and because of their noble sacrifice and everything they do for their workers, the screening is free for all CEOs to attend. They're quarterly invited to no other choice. So they basically just had a big thing saying, come see the movie for free if you're a CEO, we welcome you. The way that you get this like brilliant director, just of course there's going to be some violence, of course there's going to be some horrible, like, that'll stick with you the morning after, like, existential dread, but there's also just the way it's directed is just so brilliant, with these overlaying shots that are like kind of like with The Shining, where something fades into another and like that halfway transition point, like, it says something. You can see that this is a director who is like at his peaks. You know what I mean? Like, he's still
totally
pushing
everything is considered, everything. Yeah.
And we walked out of this basically, and I had a thought, which was, oh, for all the AI discussion we're currently having, there are some writers and filmmakers that are currently penning a script that is on fire right now. They are cooking some stories that we are not yet able to see because it's going to take a year or two, but the anti-AI like stories and scripts that are being written are going to be fucking sick in a couple years time, and I can't wait to see it. But no, go check out No Other Choice.
Okay, so the way you were talking there was one or two moments where I was like, Park Chan-wook, no, this is a vehemently anti-CEO movie, I take it.
The most. Okay. and it's like, he did an interview on The Daily Show the other day where he came out and they're like, wow, you sure have a lot to say about CEOs and the corporate class, huh? And he's like, yep, but also I want to continue making movies. So, hi, and they're like, got it, understood, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But this is a scathing commentary of the times we are living in, and how sometimes, it's rough when you're looking at the lives of others that you are stepping on beneath you. But look, man, what are you going to do? No other choice, we all got to do what we got to do to survive.
Fantastic.
We got to do what we got to do to survive.
Woolie, before we head into our next section here, I guess I just wanted to give a little mention to MAGFest, because we were not at MAGFest, but it did happen. And, I was kind of, I was seeing some of the homies, showing up at MAGFest and stuff, and I got some nice messages from people, and there was no FOMO. It was all good until I was just scrolling through some feed, and I saw the downstairs hall of MAGFest, and what did it was the pattern of the carpet. And I was like, oh man, and just all the MAGFests we've had hit me, and fuck, man, fuck. And look, there were some extenuating circumstances, and obviously, with Punch Girl and whatnot, it wouldn't have been the time for you to go. I think in the conversations up to MAGFest, we were kind of talking about it, and we've been in touch, and MAGFest are very generous with us and stuff, and at one point it was on the books for us to go. Shit started kicking off in America in a way that did not feel good for 2 foreign people to enter, one brown and one with an accent. And
I mean, it doesn't even have to go that way. Like, I've got a Canadian passport, and yours is Irish, so that is that.
Yep. And that sucks. Like, that absolutely sucks. And, you know, I just want to say that, like, shit is really rough in America right now. And, you know, just thinking of all the people who have to kind of suffer under that, and just in the most emphatic way I possibly can, fuck ICE with every atom of my being. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, the amount of like blood boiling shit I have seen, I just
I don't know what happens to this country after this. You know, there's a bigger conversation here about what everything is going to be, but it's very strange. Just kind of, I'm raising my daughter and I'm playing it by ear and I'm looking around going like the whole thing about like, oh, I'm so tired of living through, you know, historic events or whatever. It's like, no. Like, whatever is going on, like our history, like our lives are going to be different. Things are going to be different. It's just whatever it is. But what I do know is that there's a whole lot of people that are like just as confused as we are, that are in there going, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And I don't think anyone has seen anything like, well, we've seen versions of this before in the past, but this particular version of it is super confusing. And it just right now is obviously shitty and rough. And I have friends that are like trying to figure out how to get back up here, that are, you know, down there and stuff. And I would love to come to MAGFest another time and again in the future. I'd love to say that that would be possible, and I hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I really, really do. But yeah, it's just it sucks, and like, you know, to people going through it with that stuff right now, I know the condolences of 2 foreign Z-tier YouTubers can only go so far, but you know, generally we're with you, and this shit really sucks. Like, it really does.
Well, yeah, that note aside, aren't you glad I steered you away from your fucking your rap album bit in a different direction nice and early? Boy, did you not know. Did you not know
I'm
at the time.
starting to think that Ice Force was never a good idea, Woolie.
I mean, just, boy on the timing on that naming. Anyway, I wanted to give a quick shout out right before we wrapped up this first section here to just Prawn Zone, which is a fan online that was over on Reddit doing this amazing stuff with there's a sponsor we have called Heroforge, and they make miniatures, and they do like little you know, miniatures for if you're going to play like, you know, tabletop stuff, anything, whatever, and they let you custom make them. It's really sick. You kind of go through a character builder, and just to throw a couple of samples, they made some for Castle Super Beast, so they made me and Pat fighting against each other, and then came back in for a round 2 making Reggie and Susie, and then a series of Versus Wolves images. And I immediately was like, John, you gotta see this shit. Take a fucking look. So,
I just say, this is not a sponsored segment. This is just this sick that we needed to mention it.
Yes. It looks so cool. Pronzo, thank you so much for this incredible, super sick thing. And I mean, what, I don't know. There's if you go use Heroforge, promo code Castle, whatever. But no, this is dope as hell, and I can't believe like you can make you got like a wrestling ring going on, and like
I sure do.
incredible stuff. Thank you so much, Pronzone.
Woolie, we also have a little sponsor this episode, and it is our patrons over at patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast.
What is up?
Look, as ever, the Patreon continues to be the thing, the steel backbone that props up this podcast. We get incredible support over there. We really appreciate it. And the thing I always say, I love the shit out of doing this podcast. I love it so much. And the thing that makes it such a complete no-brainer and just guarantees its future and its viability for both of us is our support we get over on Patreon.
Absolutely.
And,
No, I'm just gonna say the members of the lounge have been super chill, and it's been fun watching the discussions and jumping and checking out what people are talking about, and doing some of these questions as well, and and seeing some folks and their takes on each of these episodes is it's fun. It's fun happening back there. So
it is. No, it's a really just chill, cool Discord, and you can also gain access to, first of all, you get access to every intermission lounge that we've ever done. And look, if you have held out this long, some of my favorite episodes we've ever done are in that lounge, and you just got all that to just steamroll through. And I'm going to tell you, you deserve it. You deserve it, God damn it. And you can gain access over there, but you also get to ask questions over on the intermission lounge question drop. One such question being from Babinge. Hello there, good ending and bad ending. Up for discussion. I feel like I'm the bad ending. I don't know.
I think we can just say ending A and ending B.
Okay, sure. What is your guys' fitness recommendations or just overall healthy stuff you fellas do throughout the day to day?
This is a horrible question for me.
Because I, at 23, have finally, I think, we'll get back to that, have finally decided to take my health seriously because of terrible decisions the past 6 years of fast food and other junk catching up to me. So yeah, how do you keep up to maybe help me out on my journey of living just a little longer? Also, what was the hardest challenge or boss hey, you get one question, B binge. Woolie.
Look, it never stops being a challenge, and right now I'm just I need to be in a shape that allows me to chase a kid around and not die if she does a baseball slide and runs and just runs in circles around me. I need to be able to keep up, right? So that, and my first real hey, yo, step this up, take it seriously, was diabetes. So it's hard. and I'm currently maintaining, but when things were going their strongest, I guess I can just say that what has allowed me to keep the combo going longest was to forget willpower and tap into a sense of discipline. And basically willpower will come and go. If you're motivated right now, new year, I'm going to get back to the gym. Yeah, until you're not, right? So you have to kind of find a way to move past your brain's temporary motivation into something that is no, it doesn't matter how much I want to go or not. I'm going regardless, I think I talked a couple years back about how when I didn't want to go to boxing and I was just tired and burnt, I'd be okay, the moment you start thinking that you don't want to go, you immediately must get up and put your shoes on and start walking out the door.
It's not about arguing with yourself. It's just about, okay, and we're doing it.
Yep, and I basically had to put a reflex in place that said, don't give myself a chance to negotiate. And that worked for a while. And I think, and then when it comes to I guess eating stuff, it's kind of it took a while too, but if you can find stuff that is healthy but also tastes good, it makes it easy, I guess. Meal prepping with stuff that I didn't used to eat a lot of. But Brussels sprouts, for example, I grew up not knowing much
Delicious.
about them and not eating them much at all, and then discovering that, like, oh my god, I love these, and you can meal prep them and have them ready to go, was a huge deal. You know, where I was like, that's my vegetable. I'm going to Brussels sprouts, and I don't mind. I'm not getting tired of it. You know. But I don't know, man. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like you're much better suited for this type of question, John.
Well, I mean, like in a way, but like I think like one of the most crazy transformations I ever saw was when you like went all in with the diabetes stuff, and just that was so impressive. Like I've never done anything like that.
Thank you.
But in terms of like staying in shape and I guess like thinking about that stuff, so I think it's really important to think about like, how you want to feel, because I think a lot of this stuff starts off by people wanting to look a different way, but I think how you want to feel is just as important. And I think when you start by like just like putting things in place in terms of like what your body needs, one of the most important ones is you have to get like 7 to 8 hours sleep a day, and you have to have that regular. Your body will not have the strength to keep up any kind of exercise if that isn't in place. And like I would say, getting the right amount of sleep is nearly more important than eating right. Eating right is ultra important, but like people really really like, whenever like I hear someone has a bad like sleep cycle, you should read this book. It's called Why We Sleep, and like the health deficits connected to long-term bad sleep are so awful. And so getting your sleep right is that book will also tell you how to sleep better as well. But then like I guess moving on to, like in terms of like fitness and health and stuff like that, it's kind of like, or I guess eating, what you got to understand is like there's a lot of people who want to lose weight, and there's a lot of people who want to get strong and get in shape. Those are not the same thing. If you want to lose weight, the only real way to do it is through calorie counting and stuff like that. The gigantic quantity of exercise it takes to actually burn enough calories to lose weight. It's like completely impossible unless you're like a professional athlete. Like that swimmer Michael Phelps could eat like a 2,000 calorie breakfast because he literally spent the day in the swimming pool. You do not have time to do that if you are like in any way a regular person. And like in like forming good eating habits, I think a lot of it is exactly what Woolie said. It's finding good food that you love. Every morning, without fail, my breakfast is a bowl of Greek yogurt, around 20 blueberries, and half a scoop of hazelnuts. And that is delicious. It comes in at about 300 calories, and it keeps me like full and energized until lunchtime. And learning what calories are, learning what good food is. You should read the book Ultra Processed People, which is exactly about like the ultra processed food industry, but is also going to teach you about like what it means for food to be good. Like what is an actual good piece of food to eat? And that information is actually kind of weirdly hard to come by. So I would say that, and it's about all those things working together and you working towards a goal. I'm a big fan of like calorie apps and stuff like that. I know that can kind of mess with some people's mentality, so do be careful if you're going into it. But tracking your progress and holding yourself accountable, and it's going to mean like stepping on the scale some days and being like, oh fuck, I fucked up the last week and I've gone up by 3 pounds and that sucks. But then like when you're hitting your goals and you've like over the pandemic, I put on 30 pounds and then I lost it after the pandemic, and losing it felt incredible. Like when I lost 30 pounds, I was like, fuck man, I did it, and that was awesome. And so they would be like, I guess, the very broad strokes of how I would approach this stuff. But like read as much information as possible. And in terms of exercise, find shit you enjoy. Like if you hate cardio, don't do cardio, lift weights. If you hate lifting weights, do martial arts. If you hate martial arts, take up a sport. Like have that thing that is like you are doing 3 or 4 sessions a week every week, and that's what's going to keep you doing it. Like find the exercise you love, because you shouldn't be miserable doing exercise. Like there's points it can be miserable, but in general you should love it. And so that would be the cliff notes of what I would say for like getting in shape.
I feel like over the years I've heard a couple people or a couple places take on the idea that like no matter what advice you look up, it's always going to be, you know what it is. It's going to be eat less and exercise, right? It's just going to be that. But the hard part is specifically how to find a way to stick to that and how to be able to push yourself to it. You know, the specifics of how you go about that are where the struggle comes from. But the two things are always the core and the same. So if you're somebody that is more data driven, then you might have to find more data driven solutions. Or if you're someone that likes to keep it simple, then then you might be looking for simple solutions, right? I'm someone that likes to keep it simple. So I kind of was, I was doing data at a point, and then when I saw what the data did, I was like, okay, cool, got it. I saw a massive difference when I would just get up and walk, basically for 45 minutes. I'd take in the mornings, and when I'd go out, do like a 45-minute walk, and then come back home, and I saw like a massive difference in how things were going for me just doing that without even anything much more extensive. When I was being completely sedentary, and it was like, oh, that's a cool, simple thing to just check in on and not really think too hard about. But like, yeah, when I was tracking macros, I was motivated to do it, and I was keeping on top of them and doing like keto and stuff like that. And it was working for certainly a while, but then I eventually was like, okay, I don't want to track macros anymore, but I do have the idea of, I've done this enough to know that this handful of fruit and this amount of grain and this amount of with this or that or whatever is roughly what I'm supposed to be doing to not like go over my calorie deficit for the day. But I guess I just feel like it always does come down to those two things. But, the specifics of what's going to make you stick with it are the journey that requires trying different methods and of discovering which ones work best, right? Trial and error.
Yeah. I guess like the last thing I would say as well is like, I think like you should never be hating the way you look. Like even if you're not happy with your body and you want to try and like get in better shape, that's great. But be careful about like self-loathing, and be careful about like, telling yourself like a shitty narrative, because that will never go away no matter how much weight you lose or how much whatever. That's just not how the body works. And so like, it is important to appreciate yourself the way you are and want to improve, as opposed to just fucking not being awful to yourself, you know what I mean? Because that can turn into a whole other thing.
I watched as I got to the lightest I've ever been, during this whole diabetes thing, and I was looking and I went, my brain does not accept or really care about the fact that there is a like near 80-pound difference. And I was like, wow, I can't trust my brain. I'm looking at the mirror and I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like, I can't listen to you. Objectively, there is a world of difference from where I started, but you're still kind of just like hyper focused on the negatives. And I remember having a moment of like, cool, I'm literally just not going to listen to you anymore about this. Like it's a bit nuts how far you can go and still be like, I don't see any difference, or I don't feel any different.
I mean, so where I'm at the moment is like, I'm about my lowest weight. I'm like maybe 3 or 4 pounds above my lowest weight. I am training 5 martial arts sessions a week, and I will still sometimes look in the mirror and be like, fucking come on. And I'll stop myself and be like, okay, no, fuck this. I know I'm in like the best shape I've ever been. This is stupid brain shit, and I'm not letting this dictate the narrative,
Yeah.
But anyway, binge, I really hope that helps, dude. And look, you're 23. You're fine. Like, you're fine. You'll be okay.
That you got the time. Well, yeah, over on the Patreon, thank you again so much. And I will say that can we just tell them that we've got some cool shit dropping, next week?
1 week. 1 week from it'll be the same time this podcast usually goes up. It's in 1 week. Do we just tell them what it is?
I mean, the savvy-eyed folks already kind of know, but let the drop blow their minds.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, up first. You had a recommend? It was absolute. And there were some additional little notes, but how did your month go?
I have some things to say about Absolute Batman. There are some parts of this comic that became evident. I had already read the first 5 or 6 issues, whatever that first volume is. I had already read it to the point, and I enjoyed it to the point that it had kind of appeared on our best collection. And I kept reading from there. And I will say, I take a lot of flack on this podcast and in those comments for liking some edgy shit. Absolute Batman is some edgy fucking shit.
Yeah. It's like, it is leaning into the edge because the edge is necessary for this world.
Like each time a new villain comes in, and like the 3 ones that kind of appear over the course of this run are Mr. Freeze, the Bane, I guess kind of Killer Croc, and right at the end we get the Joker, and the kind of theme for every one of them is the exact same. What if Mr. Freeze was really fucked up? What if Bane was really fucked up? What if the Joker was really... And I'm not saying this is a good or a bad thing now.
Yeah.
But that is the gimmick.
And it is very much like, the whole bit with like, this isn't a universe where evil has the advantage, right? Becomes very, very like it's a reimagining, but like the whole bit was like initially like, okay, there was for whatever reasons, Darkseid, the big Thanos of the DC world kind of thing, reset everything and made this new absolute world. And in it, all the advantages of what the heroes are supposed to have are gone. So the Bruce Wayne of this world has no money, has no manner, has none of that traditional Bruce Wayne upbringing, but instead he's 6'9", 400 pounds.
So
and just
the first page you see this guy in, it's like you get this very kind of Bruce Wayne-y looking character, and he's like hitting a kind of boxing bag and he's kind of moving around in front of it and he's thinking about something. And then the actual Bruce Wayne steps in from beside him and he's just like, move. And it's like, this Batman is a fucking monster.
That's it. Absolute unit. More like.
And look, okay. There's another thing I feel like I have to kind of call out something. Are you familiar with the arc of, I believe, Rob Liefeld?
I am familiar with one Mr. Liefeld, yes. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Not that.
Hey.
Not like this.
Okay, look. I actually don't mind Rob Liefeld's shtick at all. I'm an edgy person. I like some edge. I like some big dumb stuff. But I do feel like while Rob Liefeld's art is, and like, look, if you don't know what Rob Liefeld's art is, please look it up now and you'll immediately get it. Giant, impossible, muscled creatures that are meant to be men. There's a touch of that here.
So
there's a touch.
when you wanna invoke Rob Liefeld, but you want to talk about somebody that knows how anatomy works, you say the it's Jim Lee. Jim Lee is where you go. You go like, that's the dude who was doing this style, and there's pouches and there's shiny faces and there's spit flecks coming off the teeth, but there's no Captain America where his chest is on his shoulder and his, or like Angela, who's got her twig waist bending 15 different angles to, it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right. Anatomy is not that insane for most of Absolute Batman.
No.
I mean, come on.
And like, what I will say is clearly the art in this comic is fucking incredible. Like, Oh my god, this is one of the like my favorite looking comics I've seen in a long, long time. And there's the odd chapter where they kind of switch up the artist, but the main artist, let me just, do you have the name?
I don't, but I mean, you are correct in that like the muscles are glistening and the veins are protruding at all times. Yes.
And it is like it's also like the
Nick Dragata.
Nick Dragata. It's like the paneling, the way the sequence of events unfold it's so much fun to read. And like, look, I will say that I do think this is the most Liefeldian that Batman has ever been, but the way this character moves and the way and the impact with which he kind of like strikes things, oh my god, these panels hit so fucking hard. And it's like even if you're not into the story, it is just kind of a blast to read, you know? Like, I love the gimmick with his cape. His cape has these like, I don't know what else to call them, like weighted cables inside them, and he's able to like make them solid so he can walk around on them like a giant bat, which is just so silly.
Like a bat.
But he can also like throw them at people and they like smack with like a thunk. And
so it feels so basically like they're like engineering like grappling hooks that are like are extension arms almost, and you can like use them as hook weapons, but the cape is attached to that. So it kind of lets you have like the kind of living cape Spawn or Doctor Strange kind of idea, but using just engineering, right?
Well,
love a lot.
What is your opinion on Spawn?
The ultimate king of hell edge. Spawn. Yeah, I fucking grew up on some Spawn. And I love the idea of a character whose power has a number that limits it. And when they got rid of that, it was such a bummer because I was like, they count down every time. He's only got a little bit left, you know? Spawn is a time and a place, and like
it may be something we have to revisit on this podcast at some point.
I've got strong nostalgia for Spawn.
Okay, me too. I love Spawn. But yeah. So this Batman is like a unit, a walking tank, like even above what Batman has been before. Like, this is such a walking engine of destruction, and it is so much fun. But then you get to the kind of... So I think it's like, I personally love when you take a superhero and you are just like, how can I work backwards from what this person is? And so this Batman is not wealthy, does not have a butler, does not have a mansion, and his childhood friends are his rogues gallery. So this dude has grown up with Two-Face, the Penguin, Riddler, and Riddler and
Croc and Catwoman.
And like, they are not that at the start, and oh boy, that goes some places. But it's kind of fun, and like it's nearly silly how much they're trying to work backwards from like the typical Batman. Like, I had to laugh the first time someone brings up the Joker, and he's like, they call him the Joker because he never laughs.
It's
dumb, but it worked on me. I was like, okay.
So I feel like, going through this, like it's a lot of fun. Like going through some of these the shit that's great about this is like I think we should just spoil. Like if you want to check it out,
we're gonna spoil. We're gonna spoil.
Yeah. But I do feel like a lot of the twists on how they played things out compared to what you expect were fun. You know, him watching Zorro with the Rogues Gallery with the buddies, you know, was like a nice way to go about things. His mom's alive, Martha's alive, and she's a politician, you know. And just the fact that he has to kind of use his engineering skills to get to learn the city by working construction, doing land surveying, working in these buildings. And like, he just kind of learns Gotham just on the ground level and gets to know it that well, and is able to function as Batman because he did all the legwork to do so. He doesn't have the tech to make up for it. So a lot of preparation, and then the fact that he is also like, in terms of size, I know we bring it up, but it's like, he is the size that Bane was in the original Bane, therefore everything scales up. And there's a couple of things with like, the bat axe on his chest,
Yeah, he literally, his bat logo turns into basically a kind of sort of blunt axe. Like it's not super sharp, and he kind of smacks people with it. But it's cool.
But I feel too as well that like, not only is there no like Alfred the Butler, but like Alfred is actually like an MI agent that was kind of against him and like an enemy, before they kind of figure things out. And like, you got no Batmobile, but I got this fucking construction dump truck that I can roll through the streets with. And it is also like a situation where like, what is evil in the world is so much more powerful and so broken, and like his attitude.
It's bleak. Like it so feels like the cards are so stacked on the villain side.
Yeah.
And like the way that kind of the first arc is about I don't know if this is a new character, maybe it is, because I know Scott Snyder, the writer of this, he did Court of Owls before, and he is pretty decent at coming up with like Batman villains. But I think do you know if this is the first appearance of the Zoo?
Roman Sionis? No, it's not. The Black Mask. He's been around before.
Oh, okay. But so basically, the whole take here is that there's these helmets, and when you put them on, it will give you like targets, and it will like say arson, $500, murder, $5,000. It'll let you target a particular person, and that person is an assassination for like $20,000.
And you're getting cryptocurrency transfers. It's AR over real life, and you're getting crypto deposits in your helmet as a part of the party animals gang.
And the whole thing is like, literally anyone can pick up one of these helmets, put it on, and become a career criminal in a second.
Yeah,
that's a brilliant idea. Like, that is
really
fucking
good, really
great.
bleak.
Yep. And it's kind of this like real. Like, I always remember I was watching an interview with some like old police chief, and it was about law before, and he was talking about how every crime is solvable because there's always a reason for a crime. And if it gets to the point that there is crime without reason, then at that point society has gone so far that we will never be able to fix it.
I know what you're talking about. I remember, yes, I didn't see it, but I've heard about this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And here you just have people that are just like, yo, I'm broke. You're telling me if I go kill that person, I'm going to get paid for it? Fucking run it, Yep. And the kind of the nightmare that represents a society that is like at odds with each other to that degree. Just, that's kind of like the first thing he has to deal with. But in the meantime, it's also kind of describing like the backstory of this is there's no Crime Alley is not where the Waynes died. Crime Alley is where Bruce grew up and played with his friends, right? And that's where they love Crime Alley. That's the fun place that they know and are attached to.
Crime Alley is like it's like Goonies shit. Like, they all still bring it up, and they're like Crime Alley, which is
yeah. Whereas like it was a class trip where his dad was killed. That was like the traumatizing moment that he had, and a lot of that involved him being with his friends and them all kind of going through this mass shooting, and the effect I think you kind of get from this kind of Batman shows up a lot in these moments where he's going up against the impossible, but it's kind of just like, fuck it, I don't care because I don't expect to win, which is a very different attitude from like it, Batman with time to plan is always on top of things,
Yeah, like I feel like if you looked at this Batman stats, planning is down, being a physical juggernaut able to just wade through anything is up.
And you get this great part where, like, an example of how he goes through it is, so he when he's going after a Black Mask and he lands on that boat and he's taking out the kind of the party animal family, like the grunts, like he punts the kid.
That's
right
so
off the boat.
good. That's so good.
Puts the little like dinghy on and just punts the kid off, and then like the main second in command like girl just sees Batman, and he gives what I can only describe as a guts smile. The guts, like, and he gives her one of those, and she just dives in the water on a road, and you know what I mean? But like he basically goes on this thing to take out, like, because Gotham at that point is like, yeah, everyone's just like crime is basically being monetized, and he's resisting he's being offered the money to make Batman into the Batman we know, to get the cash and and kind of create that whole system, but to do it off of like blood money, crime money. And he's just like, nah, he's gonna do it his own way. And then he blows up the boat, and he blows up the things that are creating the helmets, servers, and kind of like and he beats the Black Mask with a fucking with the bat ears, like stabbed in the fucking
it's
head.
so sick.
But then just like, and it's like, what's your plan? And he's just like, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna just dive in the water, and that's the end of me, And like, he gets saved, but it's like, yo, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, what you going on a suicide mission? Like his friends are kind of like, that's not who you are, and you kind of have this like, the world is so oppressive and shitty and dark and bleak, and it keeps coming back in this way that like you're struggling against it, but like there's a feeling of like, why bother? And it's not at all on this level, but there's all these moments of like guts level why bother struggling that he goes through, that you're just kind of like, okay, I see what you're kind of going through here. Is like, there's always got to be these moments of like, shit is, you're able to barely make it through, and then it gets even more hopeless. Like the chat, like right after that, you get like Mr. Freeze, who to be honest, everyone, all of the villains just are like the Bloodborne versions of themselves.
Yes, that is exactly what they are, but I kind of loved Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is a tall, like grotesquely tall, like Slender Man looking thing, and he wears no clothes, and they have a little line of dialogue about the reason most people are found frozen naked is because they feel like they're on fire, and so they take off their clothes. And so the fact that they incorporate that into his design is so cool. The artist changes up for the Mr. Freeze chapter, and like, it's tough because the art in Batman Absolute is so fucking beautiful that when the art does change, I am like, this isn't like, that's one of the things I don't enjoy about Western comics sometimes. I need the same art. But like, that said, this was a really cool change up because the artist is a bit more surreal, a bit more weird, and I thought it suited the tone of Mr. Freeze really well.
Yeah, it was a horror chapter, right? Like Bruce gets
I think a lot of these chapters are horror chapters.
Yeah. And it's not like Victor, it's Victor Jr. And like the original Mr. Freeze and Nora are his frozen parents that are like they're the ones that are frozen but alive and aware
in his office.
Yeah, and he's just like, and everyone that's frozen is also like living through it in moment to moment in pain and agony. Actually, they're very fully conscious the entire time, and that's like, so yeah, you get your Bloodborne Mr. Freeze. And then right after, and he doesn't beat him, he just runs away.
Yeah, he's like, well, that was fucked up.
He gets the fuck out of there. And then the arc right after that is Abomination, where Bane shows up. And
I feel like this is what we gotta talk about, because Bane is never the first Batman villain, right? Bane is the ceiling for Batman. He is the thing that breaks Batman, you know? And I was like, okay, how do you do Bane in this universe? Because Bane is the fucked up Batman villain. Like, Bane is already like, what if there was a Batman villain that was really fucked up and, like, you know, broke Batman's back? And so I'm like, okay, how much ceiling do we actually have here to crank up that shit with Bane? Turns out a lot.
Like, I mean, if Bruce is already where the Bane we know started, what can you do to, like, bring that level in? And the whole, like, force of nature level that he operates at, right? It just, when he shows up, it's not even the, like, you were born in the darkness, I was raised in it. Oh,
no,
right?
No.
Because I love that. That was great. But this is just, hello. They fight. Oh, Muay Thai. Nice. Savate. Smart. Please, keep trying. You know, like, the energy of, like, go on, it's okay. You can advance now.
Yeah.
And he has these, like, futile fights against a dude that is like, nah, I got it all. You have no possible chance here.
I think the scary part is, like, this Bane is, like, what, like 15 feet tall?
If that, you know, to begin with.
And he is beating Bruce with pressure point touches.
Hits the elbow and goes, it's all right. You still got your focus. You still got your right arm. Hits the other ones. Don't worry. You still got your legs. It's okay. You know, like, you can do this. And, like, just getting to the point where when there's nothing left, you know, and he goes, you fucking juiced up freak, you know, because this Batman's, like, also more, he cusses or whatever. And he's like, juiced up. He's like, I haven't used the Venom yet. Like, at all.
Oh my God.
And then he turns it on and then starts baiting out. And, like, Batman at this point just drops to his knees and goes, what are you?
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a real, like,
you know,
there's a real... It's hard, right? Because, like, overly muscled characters, that's not anything anyone hasn't seen before. But there's a real, like, body horror to this creature. And it's like, it's not just like, oh, he's so strong. It's like the emotional brutality of, like, oh, Batman can never beat this thing. Like, this is completely overwhelming. And, like, basically, Bane takes Batman to this research facility. Batman breaks out.
Arc M.
And they fight again. And this is the moment where I was like, okay, what the fuck am I reading? Bane cuts off Batman's arms.
It's like, okay, there's a whole part where he breaks out. And then, okay, there's a part of the issue where you're seeing not a fight that happens, but a hypothetical that Alfred is describing, right? And that's what you're describing, where he just beats him into submission, is this, like, hypothetical, because what Bane's trying to do here is, inside of the Arkham facility underground, they're raising monsters, they're raising freaks. You see references to Man-Bat and Poison Ivy and stuff. And Bane is, like, become this, like, political force that changes world events and is sent in to change history, and using Venom and to do everything. And, like, basically he's like, he wants to be free to stay with his family in Santa Prisca, so they have to raise his replacement. And so they're like, Batman could potentially be that, you know. So he has to break him into absolute submission. So, like, having them go through this, like, extreme, like, how do you mentally break Batman, who's got, like, pins and needles hidden in every orifice, and he can stay strong. Months go by and he's still got another escape attempt inside of him and all that. But they kind of want him to become, you know, the next juiced up Venom user, so they put Venom into this giant Batman already, you know. And I want to say that the fight that they have starts as, like, Guts versus Zod, and then just becomes Tetsuo versus Kaneda.
Yes, that is it. And like there's these repeated kind of sequences of Batman breaking out and getting dragged back to the facility in like there, and like every time Bane just beats the shit out of him, and it's devastating. And then like there's
So
a bit
close.
where
Please don't give up.
yeah, oh, and there's a bit where like Batman has been there for like 40 days or something, and they're like, okay, I think we broke him. And like at this point, he has like venom scars all over his back in the shape of a bat, which was so fucking cool. And they lower the bat suit into the cage. Because they're like, we need to see. I think we got him. I think we got him. And then the next panel is the wall exploding open with Bane, or with him in the suit. And
Batman
it's like,
in the suit.
yeah,
He's talking to it like, get away from me, no, you
Yep.
know? And then it's just like, yeah. No, it's kind of, you know, and then in that arc too, you get to, they introduce like the Harley Quinn of this world with the Red Hoods gang.
what a Harley.
How about that design, huh?
Pretty sick. And I will say, that Catwoman,
That's all right.
that's okay. That's
Selina's
pretty
all right.
good.
So this fight, you know, you have like the opening salvo where it's like Bruce hits him with the "Welcome to Gotham," which is like we're gonna fight in a stadium so that everyone can see what like the public breaking, and like Batman's opening move is detonate that skyscraper and drop it on Bane's head.
If that is not a ultra in a fighting game featuring Batman within the next 5 years, we have failed as a society.
He doesn't kill. Never kills. Remember. It's so insane how the depths it goes to. And that fight, yeah, it just becomes Akira. You know, it's like you're fighting meat chunks. Like it's insanity. But the thing about like this whole like the odds are so against them that I found so interesting too is like, well, there's a bit of there's these like little side stories as well. And one of the absolute side stories is Absolute Evil, which is like a one-off. And all it and like I was mentioning it because like there's not much to it, but there's a bit it kind of goes into where it's like somebody in this world did basically like whatchamacallit, the physicists of this world were able to go into quantum physics and realize that like everything that we know quantum physics wise exists, but there is a morality element to like the quarks of the world essentially.
Yeah, found in the Omega particle, which makes the God particle look like a little fucking bitch.
And the idea essentially is that like the universe on a molecular level tends toward evil. So, you know, and like that's what the heroes are dealing with in this type of setting. So when it comes time to introduce the Joker, it's like it doesn't even feel fair or right or reasonable because it's just Satan.
Yeah,
like,
the Joker
the
in
Joker's
this,
just the devil.
So I think like one of my favorite pieces of character writing in this whole thing is that in Bane's backstory, he is growing up in this prison with his father. And it's him and his father just for years going through like the most like disgusting, awful circumstances. At one point, like the prison is like a hole, like it is in the Dark Knight movie, or Dark Knight Return. What's the third?
For Bane's origin, he grows up.
Yeah.
He always grows up in the hole.
Yeah. And so like the water fills up the hole, and they basically have to like claw their way past other men to get to the bars so they can breathe. And they go
like
through
original
that for,
Bane.
Yeah, they go through that for years and years and years, and finally they make it out and they take over the camp that has imprisoned them. Then they take over the island that's imprisoned them, and then that's where like I think it's on the shore of that island they find the Man in White, and the Man in White is the Joker. And Bane goes up. He has one small conversation with the Joker, turns around, grabs his father, breaks his back. And it's like, oh my fucking God, what is this person?
Dialogue not shown, mind you, in that conversation. And you kind of like the whole time too, he's describing the relationship with his father and stuff as like his father sees this bird of freedom and so on, but like he doesn't see a bird, all he sees is a skull. And that was I was like, oh, the mask he wears, it was always like, what is that? It's a, you know, it's like it's an abstract of kind of like both, and then he kind of ends up wearing that as his face because yeah. In any case, the Joker in this world is what Bruce would be in the world we know, and then some. He's got, not only does he got his grim manor, underneath his grim manor is the joke cave or whatever you want to call it.
The like needle drop right at the end is, and now I must go down to the cave, and he just is, and it's like
the Jonkel cave.
But like I was kind of like,
he's also the most powerful being on this planet. He is the authority running government. He's literally just an unstoppable economic entity, and everyone at all times is deathly afraid and defers to the Joker anytime he shows up anywhere and does anything, you know. The trillionaire playboy, dead serious of this world that gets whatever he wants, and what he wants obviously is fucking Satan, like death, everything, whatever, you know.
Yeah. It was really interesting, like, because I was like, okay, so we're done with Bane now. What can they possibly do with the Joker? And then you go to the cover of the next issue, and you're like, oh, it's the Violator from Spawn, except a Joker.
It's like that image coming out, I just remember when people were like, this isn't fair, man. Come on.
Yep.
You know, Bruce, you don't have to do this, bro. You know, but just like, yeah, you have that. And then you have the, you know, he's got his backstory, Jack Grimm, like this kind of like, has he been around forever? We don't know. Maybe, you know, but like when he's first introduced, you just see him sitting in like a bed throne chair thing, and he's just in a bath of like mutant baby blood and adrenochrome, or like he's just surrounded by these...
It's like a fetus throne?
It's a fetus bath, and the blood is coming into him, and he's just getting powered up by a lattice of fetuses. Like it's the most insane, like trillionaire level shit, you know, to establish this character. And yeah, I'm like, that makes sense for what, you know, when the odds have to be stacked against you, you know. And it just like, I'm like, okay, you don't even know what to begin with like this, again, random blue collar ass Batman. Like, what can he possibly do, you know? But it's just kind of an interesting setup for everything, you know.
No, it really is. And like, you know, what I'll say is like, what I said at the start about like, what if it was Mr. Freeze but fucked up and like that kind of stuff. So I think Foxcade, I think, should have dropped his Devil May Cry video by now. Has he talked to you about this at all?
Yeah.
So I've seen the video, and it's great. It is fantastic, and I would say like everyone should go watch it. It's really fascinating. But he does this kind of thing at the end where like that's basically what the producer behind Devil May Cry did with a lot of old video. What if Rayman was fucked up? What if Power Rangers was fucked up? And it doesn't mean anything, you know, like it's not enough to be like, is that like, oh, it's fucked up, like, oh, you know, the Bugs Bunny kills a guy, like it's meaningless.
Bomberman Act Zero.
Yeah, it's meaningless.
What if Bomberman was Jack? Yeah.
And that's not what this is, because I think the way they push the character of Batman to the limits, and the way he starts to lose the different parts of his life, it's like fucking, it's grim. Like, it is really, really grim. but it kind of feels appropriate for the way things are right now and like just how fucking insane the world feels. There's a bit where basically in order to push Batman to his limits, Bane attacks his friends and he
That's it.
like rips Harvey's face off, but the one that really got me was the Penguin.
The Penguin. Yeah. He was Ozzy Cobblepot was actually a normal proportioned human being. And Bane turns him into a penguin-sized, you know,
He loses 2 foot
just
of height from what Bane does to him, and he's
all
just
bones
this
broken,
all
meat
bones
pile.
broken. Yeah, a meat pile is what he looks like, and he scares me, Wooly, because like he like the Penguin doesn't say anything, but there's a bit where Two-Face is like watching the Bane fight, and he's like, he's getting them, Ozzy, he's getting them for us, and like Ozzy's just he doesn't say anything, and it's like, okay, maybe he's hurt. Or maybe there's some shit stirring beneath the surface there, and that is scary.
Yep. Riddler has not got a question mark on his hat. He has his skull ripped open to reveal brain. That is, it's fucked. You know, it's yeah. But what I do feel that like, again, nowhere near it, but there's a feeling of the way that Bruce struggles in this world. He's a beast, and he fucking. But the struggle that is just it's guts like. There is a like against a hopeless fucking god hand level of just you can't possibly overcome this. You know, it feels like they kind of wanted. Even down to the heavy fucking axe, they kind of wanted a guts Batman to be out there swinging strong, heavy, fucking blunt weapons against, you know, a world that is actually fundamentally evil, you know?
Good is not the default.
Yeah, right. Hope isn't to be expected. And I think what I do enjoy here too is like, so I checked out some of the other absolutes, right? And I you know, that I recommended, I mentioned a couple other things, but one of the others I mentioned that wasn't on the episode we recorded, but I said, if you get the chance, absolute Martian Manhunter. And what I liked about like, so I checked out Absolute Green Lantern, for example, and I was like, it's okay. I wanted to know more about Sojourner Malene, the new Green Lantern that is essentially a Gurren Lagann fan. So she's done a bunch of like cool drills and mecha shit or whatever. And it's all right. You know, it's got some cool aspects to it. Absolute Superman was raised on Krypton, and Krypton is a caste system capitalist nightmare. You know, Absolute Wonder Woman raised in hell, right? They're all just, they don't have any of the stuff that they originally had. But with Martian Manhunter, I thought that like this was a nice secondary story going alongside Batman, because the whole thing in this is like in a world that's gone to shit where everything is default evil. This book is trying to teach about empathy. And I thought that was kind of incredible. You saw a little bit.
So I read the first issue, not enough to really like get my teeth into it or to understand it, but I guess like and like even the nature, it's like the Martian Manhunter lives inside a normal person. Like it didn't seem super clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes a second to get going, but essentially, yeah, John Jones works for the FBI. He has a marriage that is in trouble, and after he experiences this, like, there's like a suicide bomber that like it detonates in front of him. The Martian is this entity that goes into his head and becomes a voice in his head that is trying to communicate with him, but is struggling to do so. And it's all told in abstract, bright colored art style that is sometimes Wes Anderson, sometimes Denis Villeneuve, you know, kind of thing. Very absurdist and extreme, but like the core thing with it that's really interesting is that like this is the same absolute world, right? He's in a different town. But the Martian is basically like giving him the ability to use Martian vision, which lets him breathe in people's
Yes. Yep.
memories, emotions, feelings, their soul. You breathe in the smoke.
And there was a bit that really got me where he's talking to the mother of the bomber and he breathes in like her emotions, and it's all her love for this person who did this awful thing, because she can't separate that. And that was like powerful, you know, like that got me.
And so that exact thing, that moment, the whole rest of the story really dives into things like that. And it uses that as a strong example of like, just like as things escalate, because there's a white Martian that's evil, there's a green Martian that's good, and language is not really working when trying to convey concepts, so they have to like use symbols and metaphors. And it's a really interesting artistic way to like show you how like essentially like you can communicate with emotions, and these are all the same thing. And the battles that are happening physically between these two forces are also happening as like philosophical arguments about good and evil, about all these things, and then on a level of like connecting with other people and empathy and having a sense of like, I can connect to where you came from and what you're doing and why and how. And it builds up to like the first arc kind of introduces like the relationship they have with each other and like how clumsy and stuff. And then there's a second arc that is like it builds up to essentially a moment of every time the character John Jones has like an emotional breakthrough, the Martian can do more and get stronger and can use his abilities.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And so the more he gets in tune with his feelings and he's more honest with himself and is able to open up and let others in, there's these empathic breakthroughs. And there's this amazing sequence that is so incredible that is like basically he's describing how like down here with us, when I punch this dude that's trying to kill my family, a punch is a punch. But for the Martians up there fighting above the city, a punch is a metaphor, and a metaphor is a conversation for a moment and a concept. And anything that has happened and anything that will happen can be used. So the white Martian will reach into the dreams of a boy down at the hospital with terminal brain cancer and create a tumor the size of the city. But the green Martian will, in that same building, find a little girl that'll develop the cure and use that to defeat this concept.
Wow. Holy shit.
The white Martian will then reach into the brain of a hippie who has a fear of nuclear Armageddon, and suddenly a nuke is falling from the sky down to the city. The green Martian will reach into that same hippie's brain and find one slight difference, which is the same hippie believes in military incompetence, and suddenly the bomb lands, but it's a dud.
That's incredible. Oh my god.
And it just becomes that, right? Every mind is a battleground. And it's like, you know, and as it kind of builds up, there's a moment of eventually like everyone is able to access everyone else's smoke. And so for one moment, the whole city gets high on each other and has a supreme moment of like, connection. It's great.
That
it's
sounds
really good.
Amazing. Yeah, it's cool because that is very clearly a series that they said, let's try something weird. And yeah.
And the idea that it's taking place in this same absolute universe that fucking Bruce is getting stomped into the ground in, you know, it's really a nice like counter to that, and it's and I really enjoyed the read.
So this is something
fantastic.
I've been kind of thinking about a lot. I'm working on a video on Fear and Hunger 2 at the moment, and I've been really struggling with like these comparisons between Fear and Hunger 1 and Fear and Hunger 2. And ultimately what I feel like it's kind of coming down to is the big difference between Fear and Hunger 1 and 2 is that 2 has empathy towards its characters.
Interesting.
And the way that changes what Fear and Hunger is kind of incredible, because in some ways it's lighter, and then in some ways it's like way darker. And it's really interesting. and hearing that like Martian Manhunter is kind of doing that to this absolute universe, that is fucking cool.
That's it, you know? Like every time there's a moment, there's these moments where like the Martian will list off like bad idea number 347, you know, or bad idea number 2000 and this, and it's like somebody who does this thing. And then like bad idea 1, no, bad idea 0 was Darkseid creating this universe to begin with, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And no, like it feels weird, but it's like the idea of just having empathy towards other people in this weird way is kind of there's a concerted push to make that old fashioned. And literally when you have people like Elon Musk going, we have an empathy problem in the West, we have an empathy disease, we need to start caring less about others, and we need to care more about ourselves, and yada yada yada, justify whatever you can so that you can fucking create the insane techno utopia you want to build.
Number go up.
Yeah. It feels extra pertinent in times like now, where people are directly going, actually, it's kind of cool if might makes right, and if we just go and kill innocent people because we're strong and we can get away with it. Conquering land shouldn't be a problem. We're strong. What are you going to do about it? Right? In that kind of like norm, when that kind of norm is trying to find its way back in, stories about why we give a shit about other people and how people who want to convince society otherwise need to do so in the most like violent, scummy ways, because they know that the average person doesn't want to experience that. The average person wants to care about, you know, and feel cared about in a community. They want to feel like they belong. They want to feel like the idea of like doing unto others as you do unto yourself and such is just it's a concept that you can grasp from such a young age. And it's important here. So I think this is it's an interesting topic that comes up in the story that they handle really well.
No, that's really cool. And it's like, it's, you know, it's the exact kind of stories that like, Jesus, we really need now, you know, and that's awesome.
Yeah. There's a really funny panel too in it where he's arguing with his wife and she's like, I don't know who you are anymore. And then it's just him, like he's on his knees holding her, and he looks up, and it's like his face is gone, and it's just a Martian face, and he's like, "I'm the same man I've always been."
Oh, that's so good.
You know. So anyway, yeah, the Absolute Universe is doing some fun stuff, and I haven't tuned into DC Comics in a minute.
Me neither. And this, like, I kind of loved Absolute Batman. Like, this was so my shit, and I'm so desperate to see what happens with the Joker, because oh my fucking god, I feel like it's such a massive promise, but seeing what they did with Bane does have me like, okay, I gotta go, go along for this ride.
And I hope it doesn't go on forever either. I hope it like has its neat and tidy ending when the time comes, you know. I know that's not how Western comics tend to work, but you can always hope. I know that with like Marvel and the Ultimate stuff, it was more limited and then it stopped and then started again, etc. But for the moment, while it's here and while it's currently ongoing, this was something interesting, you know. And the guts-like energy of the struggler that is absolute Bruce Wayne here. It was yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff.
For sure. So where does that leave it?
Oh my god. I just remember there's a moment in Manhunter where like there's an idea that's being put in people's minds to like there's just people are going out that are like at the same moment simultaneously all around the city, like 30 different people walked out and all just set a homeless person on fire.
Oh, Jesus.
And everyone was like, what the fuck was this? And then it picked up and becomes worse and worse. And you have like at a certain point, like a homeless shelter set on fire. And then, it's like, what is happening here? It's like the idea of home, of comfort, is what we're actually attacking. The idea of any shelter whatsoever. And it's going into the trauma of people in this type of setting. And you're seeing all kinds of just like real shit that people are going through, transphobic parents, horrible fucking abuse, and just every bad thing a person's been through in all these rooms. And as the place is on fire and they're sending, like, the human John Jones is getting people to safety, and the Martian John Jones is going into the trauma that these people are experiencing and ripping it apart and fighting the actual, like, moments of their past. It's like this
so
amazing
insane.
Things are happening on two levels. Like, he's diving into their minds and fighting against these moments that they've been through. It's fucking... wow, anyway,
that is awesome.
Cool.
Anyway,
let's pull up our new Pantheon for 2026.
This was good, Wooly. Like, this was really
very
good shit.
Yeah, you can start big if you want to pick a category and then zoom in, because now that we've got our labels,
I am thinking that this is maybe going in like lower outer heaven.
I was saying Cloud Path to Outer Heaven. I don't disagree with that. That feels about right. Anywhere within the upper half of the Cloud Path or the lower half of Outer Heaven feels like a comfortable zone.
Yeah, so I would say we're talking from number 22. Okay, let's start at number 22, which is Kaiji Ultimate Survivor. Do we think Absolute Batman beats Kaiji? I would say yes.
Yeah.
Does it be Invincible seasons 1 to 3?
So yes, for me, because these are both takes on superhero stories that we are familiar with, and like this one and what the comic does here is, it's edgier, but it's a little bit more up my alley bias wise.
I think it does as well. I think as a superhero story, it feels fresher.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Does it beat starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Probably not. It could, but...
I think number 21 is a good place for Batman Absolute.
Okay,
cool. Congratulations to Batman Absolute, our new number 21 on the Pantheon of Greatness. It's
absolute unit.
Or it's kind of nuts to think about. I was actually thinking about the Pantheon and like everything we've experienced, and it's nuts how much media we've consumed from this podcast.
So I'm not gonna lie, like, this has turbocharged the amount of media I've been consuming by an order of magnitude, because it's no surprise to people who listen to me talk on, CSB and stuff, but like, I pick and choose stuff. I've slowed down in recent years with how much I've gone through. I used to go through a lot back in the day, and as the years have gone on, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little more wary of time, and I've gotten a lot more tired, and I don't venture out as much as I ought to. But I do spend a good amount of my LPs going through franchises that I've never tried, that were beloved classics. So this is definitely making my media diet way, way more diverse than it otherwise would have been.
Interesting. Okay. I'm glad. I'm really, really glad. I definitely, I never would have touched Dokapon Kingdom, and that's always going to be the one where that exploded and such thing. Anyway, Wooly.
Yes.
So, I will say, once I got a little rest in me over the holidays, I started being like, I should not have done that.
Okay, so when I played Shenmue 1, I was somebody who came out of that going, wow, look at how cool video games can be.
Mm-hmm.
We could have open cities to walk around in. Look at how you can go into all these buildings and there's individually detailed items. You can talk to tons of people. And you know what? You can even have this fighting system. And I wish I could use the fighting system more, but this game doesn't seem to really be about its combat. Every once in a while, you can do some training, but
Fighting
you can't
system
really get
feels
into
good,
fights
though.
with people. It was okay, you know?
Oh, I
was,
like that Shenmue 1 fight. I think it feels heavy, you know?
I just wish I got to do it more, considering how much training you have to put in as a martial artist, Ryo Hazuki. And then in 2, you know, I also remember like continuing that and feeling and being like, yeah, well, I bought into the story and I want to know what happens with Lan Di and everything. But I overall was just left with like, you know, positive memories, even though, so I never got to past the 4th disc. I got to, you know, from Kowloon, he took off to then go to the countryside. So in the last disc, when you go to
the 4th disc
area
is
where you meet
really
Shenhua.
just like, it's like an hour and a half, and it's kind of just walking around with Shenhua. Like there's a few quick time events for like jumping across a river, and the two of them talk a lot. It's nice, but it's not like it's not anything too incredible.
And ultimately, I just kind of do remember like a goofy series of like mystery solving, question follow up adventures and hijinks and so on. And I kind of was like, yeah, that was Shenmue. And then years passed, and here we are in a world where people do all these things regularly. Shenmue 3 is a return to this franchise that
I believe it was a 19-year gap.
And for whatever reasons you had for diving down this path, you've decided to share them, and by share them I mean force them upon others.
You know, Woolie, I could react. So what I'm going to say right now, you're talking like 2025, Woolie. Okay, you're back in your feelings. You're upset. This is 2026, John. This is 2026, John. 2025 is over. It's done. All the pain, who ruined whose charity stream. It's not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, you know
what? Why you got to be a plumber? Why you got to bring up old shit? You know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're new, fresh.
Yeah. So here's the thing: is if I can, I will open on this Shenmue 3. The first thing I'm greeted with booting this game up after I refresh on the events of Shenmue 1 and 2, because I was like, let me catch back up. It's been 20 years. The first thing I'm greeted with is what I'm going to call an act of supreme cowardice. I saw the Shenhua in this game and got very confused because I said, is this the same character? And you've played the previous games, so surely you must know what Shenhua used to look like. And then what we got here, and I was like, why does she look like a completely different person? This is strange. And I went to go look into that, and it turns out that Yu Suzuki apparently said something about wanting to make Shenhua softer and look more feminine. And so they decided to change her model and face and design around entirely. And this just kind of reminded me of a couple moments in gaming when characters like Faith from Mirror's Edge came out, and people and a bunch of shitty assholes were like, no, we got to edit her face to make her look more like anime because her looking like a real person.
Oh my god.
Fuck that.
Okay, yep.
And then we saw the extension of this with what was it? Alloy from Horizon.
Tell me you've never been close to a woman without telling me you've never been close to a woman.
And so Shenhua in the original game looked like a real person that is from China, that is just has real features of a woman, a girl. And then the one that I see here on the title screen looks just like an anime character that you throw into any other game. And it was just like, oh, you cowards. You for a character that you see, because in the first games you had Nozomi, who was like their love interest, so there was no reason to worry about anyone else. But now that all you have is Shenhua to talk to, she can't look like a real person. She's got to look like one of the anyway.
And her character model, it's a little soulless. Like it's just weird whenever you see that, because like these are the only contexts which you see these types of model changes happen, right? You never see this happen with other characters in other types of ways. It's always like, no, we got to soften those features up a bit and up the appeal, because, it's the main attraction after all. So what are we going to do? Have them have sharp angles? And
sharp knees?
The wild part is that like these characters have all the chemistry of like a block of wood lying next to a block of chalk.
Yeah. So, for comparison point, like this is old Shenhua and, this is the new one.
Mm-hmm.
So the they really just, anyway, whatever. So I saw that and went, okay, caught it. Cowards. Playing.
Okay, first of all, how about the font on that title screen?
Yeah. This is a game where playing a few hours in, I can unironically use this term. I can say this about Shenmue. It insists upon itself. It insists upon itself.
It does.
It does.
Yep.
And this is not in the Peter Griffin Godfather context, but in the context of we are in this day and age, right? And this is a couple years back it came out now, but regardless, Shenmue could make something that is admittedly reflective of how games have come along, the distance that they've come since the last Shenmue. And I know that its identity is tied in to a certain flow and a certain premise and a certain feeling. But the fact that it bogs you down with how self-important and how deliberate it is, and how it's paced in such a glacial way, and it has these moments of like, are you drinking in the magical journey you're on in the Chinese countryside? And you're like, no, I'm yawning and falling asleep. What the fuck is happening? It's just the weirdest thing off the jump is right off the bat, you go, okay, well, one, we have problems because the translation is done poorly. So in the middle of random sentences, you'll have moments where at the end of everything, every time they need Ryo to say, okay, they only have one recording of him saying that, and it's him going, okay? So they'll end a conversation being like, okay, Ryo, go to the market and meet this person and then come back here. Okay? And then that'll be the end of the conversation because you didn't bother to get any others, right?
I really like it when the conversations fade to black and then fade back up and then keep going.
Oh my God. So I'm going to get there. Because I'm constantly being reminded that, oh yeah, this was the game that started as a Kickstarter, but then it wasn't really a Kickstarter. That was just to get a bunch of people's money. But then the money was coming from elsewhere, so it was kind of just like a marketing ploy. So they kind of lied about making it a Kickstarter, even though they had a publisher. What was going on with that? Whatever. And the whole like, hey guys, remember Shenmue? The journey's never been completed. And I remember being like, yeah, whatever was going to happen to that, until Yu Suzuki does an interview saying that Shenmue's a 16-part story, and we only got to chapter 4. Anyway,
we got to chapter 4, Woolie, and we missed the boat chapter. What happened on the boat?
Landy. There he is. He's on the helicopter. Why? There's a moment where they're having dialogue where Shenhua, he goes, hey Shenhua, and then he asks the question, whatever, what do you want to do in the future? And then she goes, oh, hi Ryo, what about your future? and you can pick whatever answer. And if he goes like, "Oh, I don't know what I want to do," like she replies, "Oh, hi Rio. Oh, I'm sure you'll figure it out." And you're like, "Wait, what? Like, did you eat like?" So it just their lines play at the wrong time constantly in conversations.
Multiple points in the game.
There are what feels like a walking down the road talking feels if what should be a conversation feels like a bunch of video game checks on what the last event you did was. Because it'll be like, so I went to the market and I found that thing and now we're here, so we have to go do more exploration. Okay, fade out, fade back in. Okay, so like after getting back from the market, it turns out there's somebody that we gotta find. We should figure out where to find them. Okay, fade out, fade in. Okay, and then also, and you're like, what the fuck is happening here? And it's like, oh, it's just stacking up these 1-point conversations and playing them all in sequence because these are things that you have to do next. And it ends up flowing in a way that reminds me of one of my pet peeves. It happens in, there's two strong examples I have. One is in there's an episode of Game of Thrones called Beyond the Wall in like it's the later seasons, like season 7, and they go outside the wall and the camera doesn't go cut to any other group. It just cuts to Jon Snow and his party, and because there's no one else to cut to, they'll have a conversation, the camera will fade up to the sky and then fade back down to the same group of people having another conversation a couple minutes later, and it does this like 5 times, and it's the weirdest feeling in the world. Right? You feel like you're like, am I going crazy? Is nothing happening? Because it feels like a script is playing and nothing is happening. And when watching the other thing, Suicide Squad 2016, same problem. We're walking down the road going to the whatever boss, and we have nothing else to do but have these quips with each other. So we have a joke between the characters, fade away, fade back up and do another joke, pan up, pan back down and do a third one. It feels awful. It's the stupidest shit ever. And you're talking about these conversations that are happening between people that are like the most cardboard you've ever fucking experienced. And I'm kind of remembering, I'm like, oh, like there was always this stilted weirdness to the world of Shenmue. Hey there, Tom. Hi, Ryo.
There was, but the previous Shenmues, they weren't like incompetent. You know, like they weren't broken the way this one is.
I saw a conversation, I remember, where someone was asking genuinely, they're going, Ryo's really like monotonous at times and unexpressive. And he, do you know where I can find some sailors? What can you tell me about the 4 Wudo? And they genuinely were like, is it possible that Ryo is autistic? Like, that was a genuine question. Is he meant to be coded in this way? And I remember thinking for a second, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about, no, he's not, because everyone in this world doesn't feel alive. Every villager you talk to, every single person is going through this weird thing where it's like, no, it's not him just being a certain way or whatever. No one feels like, every conversation feels so strange. And it feels like the game is creaking at the wheels to load up the next line of dialogue, and then it'll load the wrong one.
Yeah, completely. And like, even in the previous games, there were people like I really like Shenmue 2, and a part of that is because I think it's really fun to have characters like Joy and Ren for Ryo to kind of bounce off, and they're a little more at least in terms of like Shenmue, they're a little more alive and a little more kind of vibrant, and you just have nothing like that here until way, way later in the game, which is a different story.
When the combat sections introduce itself to you, it literally gives you a tutorial that says, just press buttons, try RT.
Did you feel like you were going insane when that came up on screen?
The game actively does not want to teach me what the system is. It really just wants you to mash and don't think about it. But also there will be combat challenges that you have to overcome. So don't think too hard about the fighting. Who cares? Shut up. Just try pressing buttons. But also, you're not going to progress until you're able to learn this combat system well enough, or just do the same one elbow over and over and over again that knocks them down until you move to the next challenge.
Yep.
I want every fight using that one elbow encounter.
Of course. Of course, because what else can you do? Like, and I've tried so many times to explain the buffering input delay of your commands if you're not using R2. Did you experience that?
It's so I remember there being a bit of a lag on that some before too. Absolutely. Like, you have a shortcut button and then you have do the input, wait 3 seconds, and then it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? There is just some baffling decisions that I don't remember if they used to be this way, but when you shop for things in this game, like, here's a picture of the shop, and any other game, you would pick the thing you want, perhaps buy multiple, and then check out. But Shenmue 3 needs to be weird and different, and so what that involves is you cycle through items, and then, like, X and A are subtract and add, and then, like, you have, and then buy is over on Y, and then there are menus where you're looking at, like, the trade-in for things of, like, you trade in multiple sets, and you have to go over to, like, one side of this weird menu and get and add up and then buy from there. And you're like, couldn't you just make a list of things that you select A with, and every time you add one and then you cash it? Like, what? Why am I looking at this strange menu system for everything? John, I think you made me hate Shenmue 1 and 2.
No! It went too far!
Because I haven't touched these games in a really long time, and I remember kind of thinking, like, oh wow, the first time I've ever walked in a big open city thing, that's cool. And I'm kind of thinking about this game and how much of this it was like those, and walking around spending your days just either asking people about other people who are in other locations that happen to not be home, and then waiting for it to get dark and then playing Lucky Hit until it does. And I'm kind of like, this is an extremely boring video game that insists upon itself, because it seems to think that the way you spend your time here is going to be interesting or fun, but it's not. It's dry, it's stiff, it's boring, and it was never interesting to look at inanimate objects in rooms like this.
Yes,
and
it was.
You play a game,
yes, it was. You could get Knuckles.
And when you play a game like fucking Yakuza, which lets you walk around a city and interact with things, but the people that you're playing as and talking to have personalities and real conversations, and it's funny, and it's not taking itself too seriously, and there's side quests that are enjoyable and silly, and then main quests that are also dead serious but also silly and fun, and everything about those games, like, outclassing and outpacing how stiff and weird Shenmue is. It makes me kind of go, oh, I think I was kind of just in love with the concept of a game where you could walk around an open world like that and the detail of it, because I'd never really done that before.
Okay.
But it wasn't, I don't know that it was
I have some
good.
counterpoints. I have some counterpoints here, okay? Okay.
This is what you did. This is what you did.
This is too far. This is not what I wanted.
I think you made me hate the first 2 games.
No,
because if this is what Shenmue always was,
Woolie,
this wasn't a good game.
You like the first 2 games. You like them. They're good.
It was just the first of its kind. That's it.
Can I give you my genuine counter argument here?
Please.
So I think the vast majority of the problems with Shenmue 3 come down to incompetence. Shenmue 1 and 2 were genuinely doing something weird that had never been done before. And you can see, like, the developers' decisions straining against the technology of the time. I find seeing that fascinating. But one of the other big things is those games have a genuine vibe and atmosphere. Like, Yokosuka, like, it feels like a place, and it's cool, it's interesting, it has a culture, Bailu Village feels like somewhere that Yu Suzuki wants to go on holidays, and that's why we're there.
So here's the thing, right? Anytime something does something for the first time, it gets a lot of points, and there's a lot of media that I appreciate on the sheer novelty of it breaking new ground. Unironically, red letter media. However, when I look at the idea of like getting a vibe across, right? So, look, I never liked Deadly Premonition, whatever, hot take.
Sure.
But I understand that this is a vibe that is immaculately bringing about what people enjoy about Twin Peaks, right? And no? Is that wrong? Is that not a Twin Peaks vibe game?
It is, but I feel like that game is Twin Peaks in the broad strokes, and when you drill down, it's its own weird thing.
Okay,
like
perhaps I'm missing the mark.
If that weird thing resulted from someone trying to imitate Twin Peaks, sure. But I think the vibes of those things are actually pretty different.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, if that analogy doesn't work, I'll just go back to what I was originally saying. With Shenmue, small town vibes, walking around the city and stuff at night and then at day and going to the arcade and all these things. Like, these are all things that are like, yeah, these are cool novelties. And again, I'd never done them before. But like, when it comes down to it, talking about like Joy and Ren and stuff, like, there's a lot of characters that they're just, again, equally as stiff and uninteresting as Ryo. And there's barely any levity, unless it's like to the extremes or so. There's a bunch of kids that are
Joy and Ren, I like those guys. I think they're fun.
But like, you have all this, like, you have this very like, stiff and awkward relationship with him and Nozomi that, eventually you get your motorbike ride out of it. But, there's like, everything is just so held back, and I'm not looking for it to be like expressive in a Western way necessarily, but I just think that like, the fact that conversation happens as slow as it does, and that, if the amount of things you can do, and even when it comes to like, okay, there's the 70-man battle coming, it's coming eventually, and it takes so long for you to get to that one moment where you can finally use all the training you've been practicing all game for. But then outside of that, I think there's like 4 fights total?
There is 11 fights in original Shenmue.
Okay. And I mean, look, I'm not expecting a beat 'em up, certainly, but like, I just do remember feeling like, I wish I could do more of that. So a lot of that gets its itch scratched by Yakuza. And when it comes to the vibes of small town living and like getting used to like a place like Bailu Village, we don't have to look at Yakuza as the only example, because for activities and, quirky little NPCs living their lives and everything, we can turn to Persona, and we can turn to P3, P4, P5. P4 in particular in Inaba is a small town village. It's not as out in the boonies, but it's still got you got a feeling from that town and the people that are in it that I'm like, oh yeah, like there's some fun stuff here, and you get the quirks of getting used to daily life and school and everything, and you warm up to it in a way that I just felt like I was not getting from walking around in Shenmue. And then I'm just questioning if I ever did get this feeling. Was it ever real? I think
it's really difficult to have this conversation about whether you ever really did enjoy Shenmue, because like that's like, we're kind of messing with some hypothetical stuff here about games that you played 20 years ago and games that I played like 5 years ago. So I really don't know. So I can't really speak about when Shenmue 1 or 2. If you want to compare all this stuff to Shenmue 3, then 100% I'm on board with everything you're saying.
I guess because you walk into the village and you see a bunch of the kids you talk to and play hide and seek with, and I'm like, I remember that little girl that was feeding the cat in the first game. Was that basically how this went? And I remember, that old lady that I'm talking to, and I'm like, oh yeah, there was like Ine-san. I remember. Was that
I
basically
don't
how
know.
this
I
went?
just feel like the original games, they did have more heart, and like they're janky and they're weird, but I do think they're much better experiences than this one.
Okay.
Completely. I kind of think you're off with this.
I don't know. I'm just going off of my brain and thinking. I remember doing the things I'm doing here back then too, but for some reason back then I wasn't bored by it, but now I supremely am.
So
and
I played
is it just that I was doing it for the first time?
I played Shenmue
you know?
1 about 5 years ago. I was
Okay.
bored by it. Like, there were parts of it where I was like, this is fucking boring. I definitely enjoyed it much more than this one for a lot of different reasons. But like, it's ultimately what I said. It's like, I think you can see what they were trying to create with Shenmue 1. And I think those decisions are not always right, but they are nearly always interesting. With Shenmue 3, I just think it's kind of a disaster top to bottom.
I hope you're happy, John.
Oh, I'm delighted.
Because that's what you've done is you've gone into my past and you've actually destroyed.
So I think I think what's happening here, Woolie, is that you are so in your feelings right now. And again, to me, that's a 2025 thing, but you're bringing it into 2026. That you are like destroying your own memories and being like, "Look what you made me do, John." And I'm gonna be real. It's weird and it's sad, and I really hoped that you would stop being this person. I hoped that fatherhood would make you a more empathetic. Remember everything you just said about Martian Manhunter?
John, when I when I started this podcast and
when we started this podcast, when
this podcast began and I was showing up here open to new experiences, but being well aware that there'd be some curveballs thrown into the mix.
Yep.
I understood that, hey, look, at worst, if I experience something terrible, there is a terrible thing that was not there before. And you know what? It's new and it sucks, but my life was here before. It's in addition, right? You can't subtract from who I am. But what you've done with this recommendation is you've subtracted from me. You took away from me something that was here before I showed up. Do you understand the difference? You didn't add a new thing and then that was a bad thing. You added a new thing that was bad and you've taken away from who I was before I started versus Wolves.
I can think of a way around this. Your next recommendation will be Shenmue 1. We're going to put it back, Woolie. We're going to put it back.
Like all these years, and I just never wanted to look too close. There was something in me that was like, I don't know. And you said 5 years ago, so I got to take your word on that, maybe. But do I? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just very lost and confused
footage
right now.
of me playing through. No, I've played through Shenmue 1 twice in the last 5 years, and there's video documentation of that, my friend.
You remember Walking Dead season 1 when you have nothing left to say to Ben, so you can walk up to him and go, "Hey Ben, see ya," because all the dialogue choices have been taken, so it just awkward. It feels like every conversation in this game is, "Hey Ben, see ya." Every single one of them. It's kind of crazy.
So Woolie, what would you say to someone who says that I didn't give Shenmue 3 a fair chance, and it is actually a good game?
Please don't tell me. Hold on. Are you telling me that as I say all of this into a microphone, there are Shenmue 3 defenders out here?
There are Shenmue 3 defenders, Woolie. Not a lot of them, but they're vocal. And all I can say is you don't need to make the media your identity. It's okay. Woolie, let's get this on the board because this section is bumming me out. So I'm guessing this one's going... What are we thinking? The field of competence?
I'm trying to figure out if...
Don't do it. It's the one place I won't go with you. It's the one place.
I'm trying to figure out if when you think about when you think about missing an FGC tourney, it's like you never got the event. But when you take away from me, when you subtract from who I am, I mean, this is wretched. The question
is clearly we are dealing in the valley of the wretched here. But here it is. Here is the fucking Godzilla versus King Kong of awfulness. Omicron versus Shenmue 3.
Because, like, sexy hiking taught me a thing or two about Bennett Foddy's game design philosophy.
Sexy hiking had some ideas.
And seeing that as the beginning of something was worth something to me.
Missing a fighting game tournament, I got to go back to my hotel and I had a drink. And it was nice. And then it was over. Like, that was it. It was embarrassing. It wasn't misery.
I would rather miss a fighting game tournament than ever play a single second of Shenmue 3.
Agreed.
Ever again.
Yep. Omicron or Shenmue 3?
Both games attempted to do a fighting game system with its combat.
I genuinely don't know which I think is worse.
Omicron is older and was the first of its kind. And Shenmue 3 is a sequel years later that had time.
That is something. A fine point. Shenmue 3 versus Silent Hill Ascension. We are at the bottom of the valley of the wretched. The only thing beyond this point is the Silent Abyss. But what I'll say about the Silent Abyss, that is a category of media as opposed to a statement of quality.
Shenmue 3 is a video game.
And you think it beats Silent Hill Ascension?
Silent Hill Ascension is not a video game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay if you're not a video game, but don't lie to me and pretend you are.
Shenmue 3 is at least honest of what it is, I guess.
There is game happening. It's just immensely frustrating. And again, very few things on this list, nothing on this list has reached into my past. You know, there's time traveling involved in this waiting. So I'm gonna say put it under Omicron.
Shenmue. Last chance,
you know what? No, let me fight my own recency bias right now, and say that, like, put it above Omicron. I'm probably gonna sleep on it and go, that's silly. Put it above Omicron.
If you made me play through one game again right now, I would pick Shenmue 3. Not by a lot, but I don't think there was anything in Shenmue 3 that killed my soul as much as trying to step onto the lift in Omicron.
You succeeded. You win. You did it. You went back to 1999 when I had my Dreamcast, and you found me sitting there at the TV with a smile on my face, practicing my palm strike, and you ripped the controller out of my hand, snapped the disc, and kicked me in the face. And then you went back through your time portal. Congrats, you did it.
Yeah. You know, if this was 2025, John, I'd probably take some pride in that. Probably would say, like, you deserve that for inflicting Shenmue 3 on me for what seems like it's going to be the foreseeable future. Because you don't care. You just kind of care about getting your funny little stream clip. Oh, the save game's deleted. You don't care that I might have to play this game over and over and over for the rest of my life. And you will fucking cry about having to play 6 hours of it. That's pathetic. I'll take your fucking memories. I'll take more than that. Wooly, I have not even begun to ruin your past, okay? Is what I would say if it was 2025, but we're in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. All the old debts are clear. We're now even. Wooly feels no reason to react to any of the negative things that he's feeling moving into this next recommend or die section. It's a new year. Wipe the slate clean. All emotional debts are paid. No one's trying to get back at anyone. Recommend or die. Here we go.
You are so lucky that there is microphones in an audience that have to watch what we do here, and it is not just like offline. Subject yourself to the next thing that I say.
Okay, listen. Wooly, I know you've been through a lot. I know that was a difficult one. So for your next recommendation, I don't want you to play anything. I want you to find something. Wooly, tell me what you know about liminal space.
The place between places.
The place
Transitional
between
areas.
places. Wooly, I have a deep love for liminal space. It's something that makes me feel a lot, and it's something that I could think about endlessly. And I have a few... This is going to be very open-ended. I don't want to recommend you a specific thing, but I want to give you some jumping off points, and you can do with them what you will. You don't have to experience any of these things, but they might just take you in the right direction.
This is so bizarre.
I know.
This is the weirdest shit in the world.
I know.
What the fuck is... Where are we going?
So, there's a game on Steam called The Complex Found Footage.
Okay.
I think you could play that in about 2 hours. Now, what I would say is if you're playing it, and I know this might be limited depending on how Punch Girl's doing or whatever, I would say try and play it by yourself, headphones in, just be. So you can look into that. You can read a book called House of Leaves. And that is an interesting book. I would say, it's a very difficult book to finish, for a lot of reasons, but it's an interesting watch. And I want you to browse the subreddit /liminal spaces. And finally, your last option is, if you want, you can watch my video on liminal spaces. Because what I want you to do, Wooly, is I want you to find the most liminal image you can. One that sets off those neurons, that gives you that very particular feeling. And I want you to bring it back to the podcast and show me.
You're asking for a book report.
So just to be clear, these are all suggestions of different directions you could go with it. If you just want to start Googling liminal spaces and looking at photos or reading articles, you can do that as well. This is an open-ended recommendation, but ultimately you have to come back to me with the one image that carries that feeling of liminality for you.
Could I just watch .hack/liminality instead?
You can try.
Is that the same thing?
I don't know.
Okay, House of Leaves is a book. Okay, I see. This is a weird one. It seems like it's got 700 pages, it says here. Okay.
It's a weird one.
There's a movie.
Do not watch the movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Or John's vid.
I would say even start with the vid, because that will give you a grounding. The last section is on House of Leaves. You can even just watch that. You'll get it.
You know, I was really trying to have to avoid watching one of these things.
I know. I'm sorry, Woolie. I'm sorry. Do you think I feel good recommending my fucking videos? Do you think that's like something I'm proud of?
Every time you've done a recommend and you're like, now you're not allowed to watch one of my videos, and I was like, oh, shucks. Oh, no.
Woolie.
All right.
I fucking hate you sometimes. I genuinely just want to like strangle you.
Okay. All right. Here's what I would like to do then, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
If I may. I've got an idea for a thing, but before I even go to that thing, let me just get a quick combo breaker out of the way so that we can talk about this on the lounge. Okay? So let me just
Sure.
out of the just to yeah, okay. Bloodborne PSX. Can you combo break that, please?
I've never played Bloodborne PSX.
You've never played Bloodborne PSX, and next month I guess we'll be talking about Bloodborne PSX then.
So this is like a PlayStation 1 remake of Bloodborne?
That's correct. Made by one Bunlith, aka Botster. I was fully expecting a breaker on that and was going to go right into the next thing. But if you've never played Bloodborne PSX, we should talk about Bloodborne PSX. And by extension, that leads into perhaps a little glimpse of the second thing Bunlith made right afterwards, Nightmare Cart, aka Bloodborne Cart.
Oh, yeah, no. So, okay, yeah. Now I'm remembering. I talked about this briefly in a fake video games video when it was fake. And yeah, I have been kind of curious.
It's now
to check.
Very real.
So, okay, is the recommendation Bloodborne and Nightmare Cart or just Bloodborne PSX?
Complete Bloodborne PSX. There is enough in that for you to go see what's going on, because it is a Bloodborne demake, but there's other stuff happening with it that's pretty cool. Interesting.
Okay.
And Nightmare Cart is just some fun. But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is a lounge chat, but I guess not. So here we are. And then maybe future plans can wait for the future.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
Next month, Bloodborne PSX versus Liminal Space.
That's pretty good.
See you then.
See you then, guys. Bye-bye.